What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. How far can Joel Embiid take us? We'll talk about it.
Let's go! This ain't the fuck night. Oh, this game can he stink.
Oh shit!
It's gone.
Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Welcome in, everybody. This is A2D Wednesday nights, only on A2D Radio. Every Wednesday night, we are brought to you by Manscaped, and you can get 20% off and free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Hey, Valentine's Day right around the corner. Roses are red, violets are blue. Don't let a wild pube wreck you. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and our sponsors at Manscaped are here for you with the best tools to get your balls ready for the special occasion. This V-Day, it's time to join 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming. With our exclusive offer, go to Manscaped and use promo code A2D for 20% off and free shipping. It's a no-brainer, family. Go do it. Hey, treat the people in your life the right way, all right, and clean your act up. Clean your life up, and we got a lot to talk about. Nate Moss, Greg Moakovic, Frank Vespi, Ralph Delvecchio. Sorry, Ralph. I had 30A in there. Oh,
that's okay.
Whoa. Because I was going Noah, and there's an A in Noah, so that's where my head was. No Eaton. No Ryan Brodo. The show must go on, so here we are, and we'll dive into the AFC and NFC Championship games. We'll give you a preview, some locks of the week as football season winds down here. We'll end you on a good note. We're going to end you on a good note, and hopefully these games mimic what we watched this past weekend because, man, was it some exciting football. We talked about the wild card round sort of being atrocious, honestly. Mm-hmm. Get rid of the 7 seed. No need for him. Let's just get it right into it. All right, let's just dive in. Water's warm here, and it showed it this past weekend. What a weekend of football. We'll dissect a little bit what happened last Saturday and Sunday, and again, we'll lead you in the NFC AFC Championship games and tell you who's going to the Super Bowl. The state of the Sixers coming up into the midseason point in the season, right? And what's going to happen when it comes to Ben Simmons, what's going to happen with this basketball team. We'll dive all into that. Our main topic at hand is going to be Joel Embiid's dominance because he's been flat out ridiculous. And if you haven't watched him yet, because you're upset with the state of Philly sports, all right, I'll tell you what to do. On a given night where the Sixers are playing, tune in for that man. Tune in for that man because he's doing stuff that guys like Allen Iverson have done here, right? And you talk about that, the last guy since AI, the last guy to do it was AI, basketball-wise, to put up these kind of numbers and carry a basketball team. Because that's what he's doing. He's putting the Sixers on his back, and he's carrying you. He talked about last night. He was coasting in the first half. He said it, 18-7, coast route. But he was coasting defensively, right? And then turned it on, and another 40-plus point game from the big man. And it's exciting to watch, and it's going to tie into our poll question brought to you by FanUp, and FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NFL contests, and more. Win great prizes, Sign up today. Use promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points. That's a $50 value. And let me tell you a little something. Not only for the guys out there, right? For the women, right? Or even for the guys. If you like to watch The Bachelorette or The Bachelor, you can dabble in there. All right. You can dabble with that too. It's so interactive. They got stuff for everybody. All right. If you're a daily fantasy junkie and you're damn good at it, they got it for you. If you're a newcomer, they got you taken care of as well. Easy, no salary caps. Go check them out. Right on the Apple Store. Fan Up is what they're called. And the A2D promo gets you a $50 value. So do it. Do it. Our poll question. Joel Embiid can carry the Philadelphia 76ers past the second round of the playoffs. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. That's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the follow, download us on anywhere and everywhere you get your podcast, and throw a review in. Love a review. And you know what we really love? You commenting in. Comment in. Answer the poll question. I need to know where the people stand out there. We need to know. All right, because part of me is unsure, right? Like there's a part of me that's unsure. But I brought a name up, and that name was Allen Iverson, right? So we've witnessed a guy go flat out off in the playoffs and carry a team further than they should have went. We've seen it. I would argue that this team has a little bit more talent overall than that team. Because when they were really winning games with Theo Ratliff, and Mutombo wasn't here yet. So a lot of their winning during the regular season early on came before the deadline, right? And they got Mutombo. They didn't miss a beat, right? With losing Ratliff, and they continued it on. I thought they lost a little bit offensively, all right, but defensively they got better. So they had guys who knew their roles. I think when you look in the Eastern Conference, and I talked about it on Monday, there's nobody I'm like scared to death of outside of maybe the Nets, like scared to death. Like, man, this is gonna be tough. Right? I mean, like Milwaukee, okay, they're good. We know they're good. Miami, they're good. But if I got a guy that can go for 40 a night, I got to believe that he can carry me and with a chip on his shoulder, too. Let's keep that in mind in this, too. There should be a chip on his shoulder when it comes to everything surrounding his former teammate or current teammate, however you want to look at it. Right? There's got to be a chip there. So when you go into a series, and I'll leave you with this, guys. If you go into a series with the best player in that series, hard for me to bet against you. Hard for me to. Not saying that you're having an overall better team than those teams. But right now, like, I don't think we're the most athletic group, right? We don't rebound as well as we did last year. We don't do some of these things that we did as well as we did last year. But this guy wasn't going for 40 a night last year. And sure as hell wasn't going for 50 in 27 minutes. So you tell me outside of Kevin Durant, and if you can argue Giannis with me, but right now, Joel Embiid's playing at the highest level there is around basketball. So, I mean, as I see right now, is this team good enough to go past the second round? I don't think so. All right? And I'm not trying to be a hater. Like, I just don't think so. But if this dude's going for 40 a night, I'm going to agree that he can carry. I'm not guaranteeing it, right? I'm saying, can he carry? Why can't he? We've seen it done in the past. Right? And if Tobias Harris can have a pulse with him, just a pulse, just 20 plus in the playoffs, they can go to an Eastern Conference final and they might get doored. It's all going to depend on matchups. It's all going to depend on who you were going to face. I get all that. I don't know. They could be easily as a first round exit too. All right. Could it be easily as a first round exit because of the roster? But man, this dude's playing at one of the highest clips I've seen in a while from a big man. And for me to say that he can't carry when I've always yelled and screamed that big men win championships and two guards sign shoe deals outside of Mike and Kobe, right? I'm the one who yelled that for years. I'm going to bet on the big man to get us further than we've ever gotten. And what comes with that, I don't know, right? But as constructed, the way he's playing, fuck it. Let's go eat. Let's go smack some people in the mouth. And I got to believe he's got an agenda here. Because these athletes look for shit. We're looking up everything. We're looking everywhere for motivation. He's got the biggest motivation in the country. Got a guy quit on him. So, fuck Ben. Let's go, JoJo. I'm drinking whatever Kool-Aid we're serving. Boys, family, let us know. Can he take us further than we've gone in the process? Can Joel Embiid, the entire reason we tanked, Can he get us over a hump essentially by himself? And I'll argue with anybody who disagrees. Allen did it. So, time's yours, boys. Whoever wants to go next, go ahead.
I'll go
Ironically, it's on hump day.
What'd you say?
Can he get us over to hump on hump day? Go ahead, Ralph.
Oh, no.
It was a terrible joke. It was a terrible joke. It didn't need to be repeated. But, you asked, huh?
Boo! Hiss! Boo!
You got the boo sounder in the background somewhere here on the
I think real quick to the poll, if the playoffs were a one-on-one game, right? It was just one-on-one. I think Joel wins the championship every single year, by himself. But it's a team game when it gets into the playoffs. So I'm going to go disagree. I just don't think the pieces around Joel can help him out enough in the playoffs, right? Because we all know he's going to step on the court in the playoffs and he's going to give you, 35, almost 32, 35 points a night in the playoffs. It's just everybody else around him. Can they fill those holes when he's going off, right? Can Tobias Harris consistently shoot and help him out in the playoffs? And that's going to be a big thing. By himself, I don't think he can do it. I disagree. I just don't think there's enough around him to help him out in the playoffs. Because we saw it last year too when he was going off in the playoffs. Tobias wasn't shooting great, Seth wasn't shooting that great, and obviously Ben was there. It's not like Ben was shooting anything.
Yeah, but Joel wasn't this dominant either. He's reached a different level this year. Right. And I think the key to this poll question is the wording, because Tommy alluded to it. I don't think it happens. Right. I don't think it happens. Currently construction. But can Joel Embiid, right? The way he's playing right now, he absolutely can carry you to a team. I do agree when you bring up the comparisons with Iverson, though, Tommy. I do agree. I think that team was better constructed around him for Iverson's strengths than this one is against Joel's, right? However, the way Joel is playing right now is at a level of it's almost Ryan Howard-esque during the 2007 to 2011, right? Or 2008 or 9-10 run, right? Like, get me to the plate, boys, right? It's kind of that, right? Joel Embiid is playing at such a clip. You're right, Ralph. Last year, he couldn't have done it, but he also wasn't dropping 40 a night with 15 rebounds, right? He was in the low 30s, high 20s. That's a different level that he's reached this year. Now, can he sustain it? That's the question. But when we get into a series, can he carry your team over the hump? With if the right matchup's there, yes, I'm going to have to agree. He can carry you.
No, we're not saying cut the nets down either, right? Let's keep that in mind. We're not just
get past the second round.
Yeah. We're one step at a time here, right? So we're not even at like, can he win you a title by himself? I think you're crazy to say that the way the NBA is constructed nowadays, right? Where you need that running mate, you need that other guy. But we're just talking. Can he get you? Can he get you through 2 rounds? And I think Greg's point too about like matchups. Like I don't know who they face. Right, like Miami with Bam, I would say is a little bit tougher. I see Miami and Bam round 1. Right, I'm saying, okay, right. I don't know if I'm getting out of that. So it's all depending on who I see and when I see them, and just like we thought last year too. But like nobody thought the Hawks were going to go to an Eastern Conference Final, and then a guy just has a ridiculous postseason, and those things happen. Now, granted, I'll go and then go. Nate. We're talking about a guard and a big man, so. Right, it's a little bit different when you're talking about that. When I'm comparing them to AI and what AI was able to do, or what Trae Young did last year, or some of the likes of guard play. It's a little different when you're bringing the ball up than it is when you need somebody to get you to basketball. That's the only caveat in that.
Yeah, man, I'm actually going to agree with the poll, and I'm thinking of this army trying like be all you can be. It's like be all you can Embiid, like for real. Like I just think that. I think he can. I'm going to agree to the poll because I believe that we've seen those super teams kind of come together, but then we've seen like homegrown teams do it. Obviously, with the Bucks last year, just having that one star and having those pieces and having that go-to. To me, it's either going to be Maxey or Harris. Somebody's got to step up and give you 20.
Who
At
are you
least
more
20 to
confident in?
25.
Who are you more confident in to do that though?
It's tough.
Because you've seen it 3 years now with Tobias. When the spotlight gets big, he runs away a little bit.
Yeah, it's tough because like Tommy was saying, this team compared to that Iverson team was that 01, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
That 01 team, this team is a little bit deeper, right? A little bit more athletic, a little bit more versatile. They were just a team. Like they were just a good team because they played together for years on out. Come on, help me out. Was the McKee, Lynch, obviously
Tyrone
the
Hill.
Piece, was it ugly ass Tyrone?
Yeah, ugly ass Tyrone Hill.
Ugliest guy ever to suit it up.
Ugly ass Tyrone to give you 15 and 10 though.
And I think that's the key because Tommy, you touched on it and you're about to. They had roles. I think what this current team lacks a little bit is roles. They might be deeper, but there's not as. It seems like right now they go through lulls where those defined roles seem to get muddled. Where in that 01 season they knew what they were.
Yeah. Right. They knew what they were, and they knew Iverson could get it done, and he was a closer. And I think Embiid can do that, but, sooner or later, they're going to double, triple him, and he's going to pass it up, and someone's going to have to make a shot. When Iverson, it really wasn't like that. It was all ISO ball, and he'll just break it down and put the ball in the hole. So I'm going to agree to the poll. I think they have enough to get us past the second round, all including matchups. I think we can beat Brooklyn. I'm not going to lie to you. Something's wrong with Brooklyn. I don't know what it is. But something's wrong with Brooklyn because they have to play with two different teams. The way with Kyrie, right? They're a different team on the road than they are at home.
Listen, man, you think that's not going to rub people the wrong way. Like I'm not even getting into this tonight, but you think like when you talk about teammates and other guys doing something they might not totally agree with, but they want to play basketball, right? And another guy being like, I'm gonna do it. I'm not, right? It's going to. It's natural that somebody in that locker room is rubbed the wrong way. Somebody. I'm not right. I'm not taking sides. I'm just saying human nature, somebody's going to be rubbed the wrong way. Maybe two. I don't know. Maybe nobody is. I highly doubt it. When you're talking about 15 guys, one or two guys are going to be like, really, bro? So you're taking away something that we're trying to do here. We're trying to go win a championship. We did all this. And maybe one of those two guys is the guy not happy about it. And it seems like one James Harden is the one not too happy about it. That's all the smoke that's leaking out now, right, boys? So
it's been like that for a week now.
So it's hard for me to say the Nets are like great, even though they are if they're all playing. Like there's greatness out there.
Yeah, it's the stars. They're all great. Obviously, they're all greatness on that team, but it just doesn't.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just not fitting the way that we all thought it was when they all got together. And it's just, basketball's different, man. You just can't make a super team and win. Like that shit takes time to gel. So I think we can I think we could upset if we see Brooklyn in the first round. I think it might go 6 or 7, but honestly, I really do think we can get past Brooklyn in that first round. Because they're not going to be able to stop Embiid. Like he's going to average 40 and 15 in that series. I'm not even bullshitting. Like he cooks Jordan. It doesn't matter who's on him. He cooks everybody. But especially Jordan at this moment in his career. So I'm gonna agree with the poll, man. I think he has enough to carry. I don't know what his odds are right now, but he should have been on him in the beginning for MVP. As soon as this run hit like 6 or 7 games, you should have took a look at those odds and like, all right, you know what I mean? Because right now he's got to be the favorite, if not top 3, and it's hard not to. And to go up, Tommy, scared to death. I don't want to see Miami. They're hurt, and they're the number 1 seed. They're hurt. They've been hurt for a while, and they're still the number 1 seed. So,
I sort of said like the Bam matchup worries me a little bit. Because he can defend anybody else. Like, does Milwaukee even have Lopez anymore?
Yeah, he's still there. I think he's still banged up.
Yeah, I think he's got a baggage. And don't forget coaching. And don't forget coaching.
I don't want to see Spoelstra.
Doc Late ain't nice. Ain't a good look. You know what I mean? Doc Late ain't a good look.
So. Doc Popovich? You guys don't know Doc Popovich?
He's earned this.
He's earned it though, Tommy.
They plus 300. He's tied with Giannis as the leader. No, that's them plus 300.
Plus 300.
Yeah.
If he continues on,
Steph's plus 350. Djokovic is plus 400.
It's
What is
not. I
this
don't know how
Jimmy J?
sustainable this is and how
Jimmy J.
long, but there's really nobody who can guard him. Like it's real. Like I don't see why he wouldn't score 30 a night, unless it was just an off night.
No,
But
he
there's really
does.
nobody who can guard him, and they're letting him go. They're letting him get his numbers. You know what I mean? So
He's got a lot of, and then Frank, go. He's got a lot of open space now with a guy like Ben not out there, right?
Yeah, he can
as much
breathe a
as-
little bit more.
Yeah, as much as Ben not having Ben hurts his defensively, hurts his rebounding, like important things. Don't get me wrong, but it's opened the floor up for him, right? Like it just has. And I think somebody's saying like, oh, with Furkan and Shake, like off your bench, you're going to get smoked in the playoffs. Okay, I got you, but like first off, Shake's not even playing right now. And I mean, we can make fun of Danny, and he struggled, and A, B, C, and D, and he has off nights, but he's a pro, and he's not healthy right now. So I mean, I gotta expect that, like, hey, if I can get Shake and Danny back, I'm a better basketball team. I'm not crowning this team. I'm just saying better. They're finding ways to beat teams they should beat. Well, guess what? In the NBA, that ain't easy to do every night, right? That's letdown city. We'll go to the club tonight. Ain't no. We got Houston tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Right? Or you go out and you get a good night's sleep and you try to go put up 45 on somebody's ass, right? And that's what you're seeing. And I think the one big chemistry thing that you need to see happen from this basketball team is Tyrese Maxey being able to, I don't say learn how to play with Joel, but learn how to play with Joel.
I was going to say, you might as well just say it because you're right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
because
it's not a shot.
yeah, it's not a shot. It's just it's different, right? You know what I mean? Even Joe mentioned it the other day when he was talking about the added space and being able to, if he gets a rebound, he doesn't have to look for Ben just because of how dynamic Ben was in transition, right? He's able to do things differently because Ben's not here. Again, not a shot, just the reality of the situation.
Absolutely. Frank,
Thank you.
Jimmy J, we're talking about a 6 seed. We got like 50 games to play. I mean, what are you talking about, dude? They're 2 games out of the 1 or 2.5 if Miami wins. Like grow up, Peter Pan. I know you got the Celtics thing in there. I mean, I would worry about where we're at. You know what I mean? I would worry about what's going on in my house before I started pointing fingers at the neighbor. You know what I mean? Like I would really worry about what's going on in there. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have my binoculars looking out the window at your house. I mean, get in your own place. It's fucking dirty in there. Fucking dirty in Boston.
Is that Wilson? Is that Wilson, the neighbor from Home Improvement, just peering over to?
Peering over. Fucking loved Wilson. Frank, agree or disagree?
I'm going to avoid the supermajority, and I'm going to disagree to the poll. Ralph brought up a lot of points. It's the pieces around Joel that is concerning. What is Daryl going to do with Ben Simmons? Is Joel Embiid going to have that number 2? Is that number 2? If Daryl makes a move, going to step up when Joel gets handled in the playoffs? Do I think we're going to be a second round team? Absolutely. But can we get over that hump with the roster that we have right now? I don't think so. And, there's a lot of factors going to, we don't know who's going to step up. Is Tyrese going to step up? How about Tobias? Seth? One of those guys needs to step up if Embiid decides, or not decides, or when Embiid goes cold. So somebody has to step up for him. And, Joel's not going to put 40 a night game in, game out. We've seen that in the playoffs where, he gets exhausted, he gets tired, especially in big moments. We saw that bits and pieces during that Atlanta series. So I currently disagree, but if Daryl makes a move and, finds that person to help Joel out, I will flip that to agree.
Fair. I mean, listen, like I told you guys, the only thing I'll disagree with is that the only thing I'll disagree with you that he can't go for 40 a night. Like because the ball's going to get ran through him so much. You know what I mean? Like, and his size and his ability to go to the free throw line the way he can. That's the only thing I'll disagree with. But even if he goes for 40 a night, Frank, he still needs those other guys that you mentioned.
He has to
play well. I mean, we can't have Joe for 45 and the next best guy with 12. We're like, unless there's 10 other guys with 12. You know what I mean? Then we're feeling good. But
if he's dropping 45, you need at least Tobias to have at least a pulse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least
Tobias
a pulse
or Tyrese or Seth or maybe some guy off the bench with a pulse.
The only thing too about is obviously the playoffs. You played a team 7 times, so it's obviously he's gonna see a lot of different things. You're not gonna be playing, Charlotte on a Tuesday night in February, and he's dropping 45, and then the next game he does the same thing to a different team. So it's gonna be interesting to whoever you play in the first or second round, to where that team has 7 games to build a game plan around this dude, and maybe it's like, okay, well, we'll take a little, the book of what Atlanta did, and when he catches the ball in the post, we'll just double team him and say, okay, Tobias, go ahead and shoot, or go ahead, Maxey, go ahead and shoot, or anybody else. Oh, there goes Tommy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely agree with you talking about. I'm about to call you Frank for some reason, Ralph. Well, I saw this go up, so I was just like, whoa. But
yeah, I didn't. Nobody touched the button. Nobody touched the button.
Stop kicking time off. What the hell? You know what? Move me in the middle. I'll go in the middle and I'll take over the goddamn fucking show. All right, but I'll take over the goddamn show. Frankie, Tommy, you stay the fuck down there. It's my show.
I'm sure.
No, Ralphie, I completely agree with you, man. I think that there's got to be another gun, right? It's got
yeah.
There's got to be another gun. He's got the best gun in the game right now, and you're gonna run out of bullets. You're gonna pull the clip back up. There's got to be another gun, and somebody's got to step up. But the funny thing is, they have so many options. Like Seth was amazing last year in the playoffs. Danny's a pro. Maxey's coming around, right? This is what, year 2 at this point
of Danny.
So and then trying to think. Tobias has got. I don't put a lot of faith in Tobias. You know what I mean? I don't, because he shrinks in small and big moments. He really does.
I'm gonna do something with you now. I'm gonna do something with you now because I tend to agree with that, because I'm going to maybe right back down there now for this. I tend to agree with you.
Taking over. I was doing good until
you were doing great. You were doing great. I just felt awkward down there. Like I didn't know what to do with my hands. But the thing is, it's like he hasn't done that, right? He hasn't proven in the postseason that he can take over a game.
Right, exactly.
But maybe like I'll give him I'll give him his down moments coming back, like after COVID and his legs not being under him, like sort of like Seth was last year for a little bit. Like I'll give you a month of that, and then I need you to start like showing me that you're gaining some energy back, and you can play at a high level. And he hasn't really done that. He's had a few nights here and there where he's had good nights. But I gotta hope like that he can. Like the guy was never this bad of a shooter. Like I don't know when this became a thing. Like he's almost gotten worse as he's been given more money, which is crazy because I do think he's a worker. I do think he's a guy who tries to get better, but he just really hasn't. But can he have one good postseason run, right? Where he's just giving you 20 a night? Like I don't, nobody's asking to buy it for 30 a night. Like, dude, if you're giving me 20 with the way Joel Embiid's playing, we're in every basketball game.
Every
basketball game.
Yeah.
If I'm accounting for 65 points between two guys, I'm in something, because then I gotta band-aid other stuff. Like Maxey's gonna give you 10.
And Maxey's too young and he's too, I want to say, bullish, right? To fall into any type of hype and any type of, oh my God, it's postseason. He did play last year, first of all, too. So it's not like it's his first.
He's got some experience.
Yeah,
sure.
So it's not going to be his first one. And I just think he seems like the type of kid who's going to take anything, head on, right? He's not going to shrink in the potential moment. That could all come back to, and be false. But the other thing, too, is just because we might not trade Ben at the deadline doesn't mean Daryl is going to necessarily sit pat. Some of the rumors, whether they're true or not, is them trying to package Ben and Tobias. So there's obviously been some conversations around potentially Tobias moving in some capacity. So if Ben's not a part of it and they hold on to him, fine. But do they move on from Harris, right? And then that way, does our team look completely different going into the playoffs from a guy who has traditionally shrunk in those moments? So that's the other caveat that obviously we don't know that, you can factor in. What we do know is he's here now, right? So we're going to obviously discuss and talk that he's here. I tend to think he can't get any worse in the playoffs than he's been. Tobias wise, right? And you look back at the years with Iverson, right? You look back at like the Jordan Doc, right? All those guys, when you're playing with that type of level of greatness, and I'm not saying Iverson is Jordan, right? But I'm just bringing it to what we know here in Philadelphia for good basketball. Guys buy into that star, that buy into what they're playing for and with some greatness, right? So in those big moments, they haven't happened yet, but Joel's never been this great.
No.
Joel's been very good, but he's never been this dominant, this great.
And I think it's a good thing to bring up that Iverson team because it was just AI, right? There was games where Iverson went like 9 for like 28, 9 for 30, and they still got to win because they played as a team, right? And I think that's what the Sixers have to do. Obviously, and not what to do. That's what they're doing. Like he's going off, and they're just playing behind him. They're jumping on the Embiid wagon, and they're just going for the ride. Sooner or later, somebody's got to come out and push too. You know what I mean? And hopefully it's Harris. I just want to see him take over one game. That's like one game where it's just Harris. You know what I mean? And I think
do it all the time in smaller markets. He's doing it all the time.
Yeah. Did
He's
he have
doing
it
it all
last
the
week?
Yeah, he used to do it a lot in Orlando, obviously.
He did it in Detroit when he was there for a hot minute.
Yeah.
Right? He had
He
30
did it with the Clippers. I mean, he arguably had his best season with Doc.
Yeah, before he got traded here.
And he used to be so much
Literally
better
in the middle of that
transition.
season when he was having his best season, the year he got traded. Yeah.
Ralph, he used to be really good in transition.
Yeah.
He used to take it to the bucket better. Like they're the things that I weird me out with him. Now I'll say this: Maxey and Seth are really the ones that you gotta hope can live up to it. Like they're the bigger two to me than Tobias, because Tobias is really going to be around his numbers. He always has been his entire career. So, he's going to miss shots he needs to make and etc. But he'll be around his numbers. The other two, like you need Seth Curry for 2 series to shoot lights out, right? You need Tyrese Maxey to start fueling himself around Joel Embiid, right? And trusting himself, right? And not being, I don't want to use the word timid, but I'll use the word timid around when you're playing with Joel. So, those things to me are the bigger thing than Tobias, right? And then what production can you get from your second unit? And that's how that's how you win series.
I'm looking at Steph, and I need him to I just need him to hit big shots when called upon. You know what I mean? Like I don't need him to score I would love for him to score 25, 30, but when he's in that pick and roll, right? And they give him that little bit of space, I just need him to make big shots. It's knockdown shots, especially when there's runs. You know what I mean? Embiid's getting doubled. They're swinging the ball. When they swing the ball, hit the motherfucking shot.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You need a big three. You're the momentum swinging. 2 minutes left in the game, and or you're down 5. They double, boom, hit that shot. Because if you miss that shot and then transition goes, and the other team goes down and score, it's just a killer. Because you come down, you get a little rush, you get a little heavy. You know what I mean? Now, they've been here before, so they should know how to handle that situation. But I could see somebody coming down, throwing a little panic 3, throwing it to Danny Green, and he shoots a 3. So now he's 0 for 7 already. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like I think that those role players, when called upon, they need to hit big shots. But we do need somebody to fill the second board of scoring, and then we need somebody who can hit a big shot. Like,
can I hit you with this? Let me hit you with this.
Hold on, Tommy. Those Iverson days, Aaron McKee was fucking clutch.
Yep.
Very clutch.
Clutch
From the corner.
mid-range. You could always count on Aaron to hit you, give you a good 16-footer. And George Lynch, every once in a while when he got space, he would knock it down too. You know what I mean? Even Eric Snow, even though he was a little funky, you know what I mean? But big time, Aaron McKee was clutch when they needed a bucket from somebody else who could hit a mid-range. And I think that's what the Sixers need. Or they have it. They just need somebody to be consistent with it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm going to give you Tobias' last 10, right? Last 10, he's shooting 52% from the field, shooting 43% from 3, 84% from the line, 7 boards, 3.5 assists, about close to a block and a steal a game, and averaging 19 a game. So, I mean, it's not as bad.
Can you do that?
It's not as bad as it looks. Like, his numbers are all up from the season too. Like, because because regular season wise, he's averaging 32% from three, right? 46% from the field. So he's jumped that in the last 10, which we talked about, which I just mentioned. I'm not using excuses on shit. I'm just telling you that, like, we saw with Seth, it happens. Guys talk about it around the league. So it's we're not getting into this, but it obviously these guys as pro athletes, it takes more of like a minute just to get their legs back too.
Yep.
So you're talking about that jump in 10 games. That's what we're looking for. That he needs to be that. Because if you're that, this basketball team's extremely successul. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Like it is are, because you have Batman and you have a Robin, and then can Tyrese Maxey just give you 15 to 17 a night?
Can it be Batgirl?
Yeah, Batgirl. Hey, girl.
Joe, first of all, thanks for the comment, bro. Appreciate it. But the other side of it too is that third fiddle, right? That Batgirl. What we're talking about, that's the guard play. Right, you obviously have Joel as your big, and then Toby's going to be is another big, right? But you need something from that guard play in the playoffs. You need a guard, and where the Sixers are so deep, and you could argue talented too, is their guards. You know what I mean? Like even when you go to the bench with either Matisse or not necessarily offensively, of course, with Matisse, but Danny, who's been there, been in the league a minute, won a few rings or two, right? And then you even look down the bench, Shake, been there, but a guard. Isaiah Joe's young, but they're guards. So you need something. And obviously the playoffs, we're not going to get that deep, but you need something from those guards. And that's where, as you guys have mentioned, that's where Steph, or I wish it was Steph, where Seth and Maxey jump in, and they have to be impactful just because you need something out of those guards.
And that's one of the biggest keys too for Seth and for the Sixers when you guys made that trade 2 years ago on draft night. He came here for the reasons like you guys were saying, to hit the big shots, to fill that gap, to give you 15 a night or 13 a night, whatever it was. And can he step up in the playoffs for you guys? That's going to be another question, moving forward, because you look at this deadline, right? Obviously, if you don't move Ben, you don't move Ben. You worry about it in the summer. But is there a piece out there that you can get for Tobias Harris that can at least give you something else, maybe another starter or another bench guy, for Tobias? But I just don't think Tobias is going to be the solo man out of here, when February 10th comes and the deadline comes.
Yeah, I think Tobias Harris is going to be here personally.
Yeah, I do think so too.
Sure.
Let me give you Maxey's last 10. He's only played in eight of them, but 43% from the field, which is down. His season average is 46, so down. But his 3-point percentage up to 51 from 41% overall for the season. 91% from the line, 87% overall for the year. His rebounds are the same. His assists are the same. His steals essentially the same. His turnovers are down a little bit. And his points per game about 15.5 compared to 16.5 for the regular season. So, I don't want to say getting better, but looks to be improving in certain aspects. But again, a young player. He got better as the season went on last year. I would hope for the same growth out of him again in year 2, right? So yeah, I'm good with the growth out of him. He's giving you almost the same points as Ben gave you, but you're getting hurt on the boards. You're getting hurt defensively, and you're essentially getting hurt with the assists. So, as much as we crush Ben, you see the impact. You see the impact, and it's there. The elephant is wide awake in this room. So, I mean, we all get it. And Sean, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, other than Tobias and Maxey, I honestly would like to see more offensive production from Matisse. Again, sure, now you're playing 4-on-5 again, right? Now we're in 4-on-5.
Yeah, you're back to what it was last year, essentially.
Not ideal. Not ideal when he's on the
court. I don't think so. I don't. You get more. You get something out of him. It's not an offensive.
What do you get?
Offensive game like Ben, but what the fuck is his offensive game?
You get more out of Ben than you do Matisse.
Yeah, but Matisse,
and Ben's not even playing.
Yeah, but see, Matisse will shoot the ball though. At least if he's open, he won't. He might not make it, but he'll at least shoot the ball. I don't know. I don't know about that one, Sean. I don't know if I agree with that because Matisse isn't. He's not that. He's not. You know what I mean? He's not an offensive guy. You know what I mean? He's just not. So you can't make a guy who's not, not an offensive first guy and make him offensive.
Of course, the Sixers would draft a first-round guy in a league that scores with a guy that can't score.
Yeah, and I agree with Sean. I just need you to be more consistent from three. I mean, you're shooting 28% over your last 10. You've only played in 5 of them. But your season average is 27, bro. I mean, that's not good enough. Okay, it's not gonna hack it, especially when you're getting open looks. So
you're gonna get open looks.
That's the biggest.
Oh yeah, big time.
That's the biggest issue with him. And you look elsewhere. This roster is what it is. I mean, they really, Danny's not great, but you could really use Danny back. And you can really use Shake Milton back. And I never thought I'd be saying you could really use those 2 guys back. Now to talk about stuff at the deadline, boys, in the go into that a little bit. I don't know what they do. And I want to see everybody's opinion out there. Do you believe that this guy is still going to be on this basketball team after the trade deadline? So we could almost poll it like Ben Simmons will still be on the Sixers roster after the trade deadline. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Agree.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I just don't see them moving Ben right now because I don't think in their eyes they're going to get a top 25 player back for him. Right, because we all know 25 top players. We might all have the same list, but to the Sixers, they might have one guy higher than the other guy, and they might value this guy a little bit more. So you can go into the offseason and then trade them for more pieces when there's more cap space and there's more flexible a little bit for each team. But for right now, I just don't think he gets moved at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow suit, man. I agree that I don't think they'll move him. I think they tried to call Morey's bluff, and his poker face didn't budge. And I think he's sticking to his guns. They're trying every little bit of thing to kind of get him out of there. But we control you. We have your contract, and you're not moving until I get something I want back that I think is worth your value. And he's going to keep that up, right? He's going to keep believing and keep telling people that this is a generational talent, and I'm going to get something good back for it. If not, he'll just kind of sit, work on his tan.
Yeah, which can hurt you in the long run, though.
Mm-hmm. It hurts
because if you keep on holding on to him and he doesn't play, and then the summertime comes, and then it starts to get a little dry with them, and then you got to sit there and ask yourself, okay, how I might be wasting Embiid's prime here. You know what I mean?
I mean, they are wasting his prime for sure.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's a story for another day. If you're waiting.
Business, though, it's business at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think this is the greatest. I'm trying to think of the right wording. I mean, I see right through it.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tommy. I love it. I think it's great that he's standing.
No. I think it's even bigger than that, right? I think going on radio stations and publicly saying, "We'll just hold on to him," right? I mean, think about that. So. We can buy into that, or we can look at it from a different angle, and that's the angle I'm going to look at it for, right? That's the biggest lie I've ever heard because they don't want to. So for him to go on and say, "We'll just keep him if the value's not there, we're good," right? Wait, what'd you say? So now execs around the league now think, "Oh, well, they're not, we're not going to fleece them. So if we want them, we got to go with a legit offer, etc." Right? That I think it gives Daryl Morey for the first time this season leverage. Calculated leverage. So if we don't think that was calculated, him going on and saying, we'll hold on to him, I think we're all crazy to think that that's not calculated. Now, if they hold on him or don't hold on him, that's a different conversation, right? But I think what he did is he now he avoided the fleece. And I think what he did here is he brings more people to the table now. That are like, wait, they're not going to deal him. So maybe my offer, say if it's a Sacramento offer or another offer, right, then like, okay, they'll just hold on to him. So if we really want them, we're going to have to give a little bit more.
Yep.
We're going to put more chips into the table for it to be able to go all in here. And I think that's one of the greatest calculated interviews of all time. And I've given Daryl a shit ton of heat throughout this year on this situation, right? I also understand it from, hey, we're saying we're wasting Joel Embiid's prime right now. We make a bad deal, we're wasting the entire prime. There's two ways to look at that too, right? So, and I think him saying that as well really just gives him freedom. It gives him freedom because now if he doesn't do what he said, hey, we're not just going to do it to do it. But I think there's places. There's going to be places that pop up here, and it's going to be hard for him to say no. I think is what's exactly what's going to happen. Like either the Kings come back and like I'm just saying, I'm just using them as an example. You know, they throw Fox into the conversation, right?
If they throw Fox in, you're pulling the trigger. You know, it's a done deal.
Yeah,
you have to at
no.
that point. You can't.
No, if you want Ben Simmons, if I'm Daryl Morey, I want Fox, Halliburton, and Hield. So you're just not getting over, and you're not getting Tobias. Okay, if you think you're getting Tobias, you're not. So you're not, because I want actually a guy who's won basketball games on my roster still, right? As much as we harp on him, I don't want a bunch of losers from a Sacramento team that stinks. Now, granted, that's not all of these young players. Some of it's on, everything above them.
The management not building on that, a team around.
The last time they went to the postseason, the iPhone didn't even exist. Okay, so I mean, let's also call that a spade too here. But I think that then there's going to be a deal that he's not going to be able to say no to, and it might not be the deal that we think is the greatest deal of all time. And Robert, maybe he does. Maybe he is. Maybe he is delusional, and he really believes that in Daryl Morey, that the right deal is going to come across his table. But I got to believe that he's smart enough to know the longer this goes, the worse the value gets. Doesn't get back.
He has to know that. He has to know that.
Another name too we talked about earlier in the year, Samuel Rowe. I don't think any Philly fan overvalue him. I just think the league is overvaluing him.
I don't think he's overvalued.
I don't think he's overvalued.
I don't think he's overvalued either.
Yeah.
I don't think he's overvalued either. I think and that's why we're having this discussion still, right? Because there is value for him. But there's another name. CJ McCollum has come back to play, right? And I know he was a name earlier targeted. Then he went down with the injury. He's come back. He's played 5 or 6 games since coming back. So, because I'll disagree. I do think he gets moved. I don't know whether that's 50 cents on the dollar. I don't know if that's 90 cents on the dollar, right? But I do think he gets moved. And Tommy, I like the angle that you just described because it makes sense, right? It's almost like the Eagles. It's like name the bigger lie: Daryl Morey not trading Ben Simmons, or Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman saying Jalen Hurts is our quarterback next year.
Yeah,
like the day after the season, right? You know what I mean?
Nice little circle jerk together. Good for them too. Like we're gonna believe what you two were saying, but yeah, go ahead.
Like the day after the season, you know what I mean? Like at this time of the year, why doesn't Daryl Morey say that? Like that's what you're supposed to say at this scenario, right? You don't have as much leverage as you once had, so how do you get it back? Hey, if there's no offers, we'll hold on to them. That's no problem. We're good. We're good to go. But no, I do think he gets moved. And like you said, you look at a guy like CJ who has come back and he's played pretty well since his return.
No, absolutely. And what was I going to say, Jimmy? That was the next question I was going with. If he's still here after the deadline, does he come back and play?
I don't think so. I mean, I agree. I mean, I still think Simmons stays, and I think this all sets you up for potential. If the reports are leading to a potential sign and trade with James Harden, I think that's what's going to lead to if he doesn't get traded. But if he's somehow, he's going to stay. I don't think he's going to play one bit.
Now that's a caveat. That's an interesting one.
Could you imagine that?
Come back for playoff time?
I don't even want him to play for us anymore.
I don't want him.
Yeah, like I'm kind of done. I know he makes it's hard to say. I mean, no, it's not hard to say. He makes the team better. Obviously, we're better with him on the team. But at this point, like I'm done with him. Like, you know what I mean? Like if we're going to sit back and hold our cards and just hold them until we find a deal that we need, then that's what we're going to do. Does it suck that we're wasting Embiid's prime, absolutely.
Mhm.
But I'm not just thinking about Embiid, but I'm thinking about 5-10 years from now, because that's what this is going to set you up for.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's going to set you up. It's going to bring you young talent that's going to be here to help maybe an Embiid that's out of his prime. And let's not get it twisted. Embiid could be out of his prime. I mean, he could be in his prime for the next 2 years. Ain't nobody going to really slow his ass down except for him. Right? Except
not in the East at least.
Yeah, not in the East. Maybe a weight issue or something, but he's been good. So other than that, I'm not. He's not playing for me again. Like he's not.
I don't know how that works.
I'm done with him.
I don't know how that works as like a teammate. Everything that goes in the.
Could you imagine that? Be like, they didn't trade me. I guess I'll play now.
I mean, they're pro.
Like, oh, you didn't trade me? The fans will like me again if I played? Oh, golly. I can't wait to play for the Sixers.
Shoot back up.
And then we go back to what Tommy was saying about Brooklyn and Kyrie. It's going to rub some people wrong, but at the end of the day, you're a pro. You put your shoes on, you go out there and play ball. And then that camaraderie and that team, that team will come there. The problem with Kyrie is that Kyrie's not with them at home. He's like halfway there and then halfway not. With Simmons, it would sooner or later come full circle, but don't let them be trash, right?
Trust.
Don't let him come back and be bad.
Trust. That's the key word. It's trust, right? I got to be able to trust the guy next to me. And the biggest elephant in the room is how many guys are going to trust him, even when it is 20 games back. If it came to that, right? Like you're still going to have that thought process. Like, well, if things don't go well in the postseason again for him, are we going to do the same thing again next year, right? So that trust is the hardest thing to overcome. That's sort of what Kyrie's doing in a different way. All right. In a little, like, you know what I mean? Obviously, two situations are completely different. One guy's just a loser and doesn't want to play, and one guy has a stance, right? And in a world of stances, the stance isn't going to rub me the wrong way because I'm going to go out and ball. It makes sense. So, like, me thinking as a teammate side of things, I don't even get up in my feels about it, right? I go play basketball, but there's guys on both sides of this, both when you're talking about him and Ben, that are going to be rubbed the wrong way. And if one of those guys happens to be like a Joel Embiid, that's not good. That's not good. So, but now the players say, like they're probably saying in Brooklyn, hey, this guy makes us better. We'll take what we can get, right? Like, hey, we'll take him on the road then. Fine. You know what I mean? We'll take him. And the same thing happened with Ben. Like, the same thing happened, like, hey, he makes us better. We'll take him back. At the end of the day, the trust and the relationships are what cuts nets down, in my opinion, in all sports. And without that, good luck.
But I think that trust can go the other side of that too, is even on the court, right? I mean, if you're passing the ball up to him in an open, an open break, or if he's got an open 15-footer, is he going to take the shot? Right? I mean, that's what he got crushed for. That's our last moment of Ben Simmons, right? So I think even trust on the court, if in this hypothetical he comes back. I mean, trust outside in the locker room, you're 100% right. But
I meant the court too. Like, I meant all of it. But you're right. You're
that's
right.
that other side is, if he's got an open shot, do we get the same old Ben Simmons, or do we get a new FU Ben Simmons?
I mean, I get nothing new. And I agree with Sean. He deserved most of the blame. The playoff performance for a player who makes superstar money was pitiful. And to take your ball and run from a fan base, I agree with you guys. I don't want him back. So that's why I've been yelling since he didn't want guys to come fly to his house during the summer. You're gone, girl. You're gone.
Yeah,
we don't even.
When you literally told the half of the team, don't even get on the plane, I'm not coming back. Yep. That's when you should have shipped him out. You know what I mean? Because everybody was willing to go out to LA and talk to him and see where his mind at. When he told Joel and Danny and Tobias, hey, don't even get on the tarmacs. You know what I mean? Don't even step on the plane.
Yeah, don't buy that ticket.
and even so, like the group of those guys, right? Joel's here, was your other, high pick, prize guy, right? Danny, who stuck up for you multiple times over the last 2 years that he's been here. Yeah. You know what I mean? And Toby, who's taken a lot of heat away from you and put him on himself. So to tell those three, yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
First off, this is a great. Don says another question: does Glenn Rivers change his way in the playoffs? And then Brandon with the response of the night hits him with Don. Would you ask Pop that question? Come on, man, he's earned that.
That is great.
That's awesome.
Listen, I'm a Doc guy because I think me and Ryan were talking about this. He's a basketball guy.
Yeah.
Through and through. Sam Cassell's a basketball guy through and through. I really like this coaching staff. But, dude, grow the fuck up, Peter Pan. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? You won a championship. Good. You won one. 45 years ago, it feels like.
Yeah. He won one when I was in 7th grade.
You know what greatness does? Takes accountability. And I said this on Monday. Greg, how many times do I get done a tournament after a loss and do I call you and the first thing we're talking about, and I'm not crowning myself, I'm just making a point. We're talking about what I could have did. What I don't play, but we're going to talk about what I could have did, what decisions could have been made. Maybe I should have moved right, whatever. We have these conversations, and you used to do when you coach. Like, man, I should have probably did this. Right? So when the mic goes to your fucking mouth, asshole, all right, have some accountability. Just take the heat. That's what great coaches do. They take the heat, and I consider him a guy who is accountable, right? You don't have to like every question.
Right?
Yeah, you don't have to like every question. But you just eat it, man. You eat it up and you chew it up and you swallow it, right? And you say, I'll eat that one for us. All right, I'll eat it. I could have did better. And if somebody says, well, what could you did better? Say, relax. I told you. You know what I mean? We'll talk about that inside. What I could do better. I don't need to answer that to you, but I could have did a better job tonight, right? And we hate that answer. But, dude, that answer is why guys like Andy are still coaching at a high level, right? Is the accountability, even if you believe it or not, right? I got to do a better job. The bad coaches are the ones that never have accountability. Joe Judge in New York. You look around. Like, the guys are just deflect city. Deflect city.
Yeah.
Don't deflect on me.
And even in the moment when we don't believe you, right? Even when we want the answer, right? We got sick of Andy's. Oh, yeah, we got to do a better job. We got to do a better job. We got to do. But he actually, it understood. Right, rather than Chip Kelly or Gabe Kapler not even answering the question or throwing a whole bunch of big words out there to make you think that they answered the question, but they didn't really. You just had to go look up in a dictionary what those words meant.
You can say we all got to do a better job, and it starts with me, right? And you're not putting it all on yourself, but you're putting a little bit on yourself. I mean, come on, dude. This is public relations 101. I mean, this is answering questions 101. So. That's what I don't like. Like, listen, I hate these guys that have the credentials. Let's be real, okay? I'm an anti-credential guy, all right? Because I think their questions are horrific. 90% of them. There's 10% that do a tremendous job. The other 90 are atrocious. Like the biggest dry jocks you ever met in your life. So these guys that aren't dry jocks, coaches, players, these questions start rubbing guys the wrong way because they're dumb, half of them. But that question that night was not one of those questions, okay? It wasn't. That's my problem with it. It was a simple, hey, what could you have done better? Who are you asking that to? What? What'd you say? You talking about me? You talking about the great Doc Rivers? Are you kidding me? Grow up, dude. Nobody's got time for that. If they ask you some outlandish question that you're like, dude, this doesn't even rate the basketball, then belittle a guy. I don't care. If the dumb questions get asked, then I got no problem with you firing shots back. But when it's a basic one, I know you lost to the team you used to coach to, and you blew a 25-point lead or whatever it was, and your feelings and your pains were all up in a bunch. But don't take your feelings to the fucking podium. Public relations 101 again. I'm 40 almost. I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
Yeah, this gets me fired up, and I'm a Doc guy. Sorry, go ahead, Greg.
And I was just going to say, that's the thing that we thought we were getting with Doc, right? That's the thing that we thought that Brett Brown lacked, was that accountability, that ability to hold the guys in that locker room to a higher standard. So that's where, like, even me, I'm not a Doc guy, but you bought into it because, hey, Doc's been around. Whether, he might have lost big games, but he's been around those big games. So hopefully with a talent like he's got here in Joel and when he got here with Ben, he can get over those humps because of that accountability, because of holding those guys to a different standard. Well, it's been the same. It's been the same since he's been here. You know what I mean? Like, we haven't necessarily gotten over that hump, and he hasn't been any better than Brett Brown.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, no, Greg. And I'll yell it. Players play in the NBA. Like, do you need good coaching? Yeah, you need a guy that can be accountable, a guy that holds people accountable, right? He held a guy so accountable, the guy ran, right? Like in reality, Sam Cassell and Doc held Ben so accountable that he ran.
He doesn't even want to play anymore.
Yeah, because they said, dude, just shoot it. Like, and they weren't pressing him. Like, everybody around that was like, Danny, everybody, shoot the ball, Ben. It was like a running joke. Like, we tell Ben to shoot all the fucking time. It was a circle jerk of shooting, right? And this guy, and then this guy runs away. So we got something different than Greg, to the point of that side of things. And to the point that, right, Ben's such an emotional little roller coaster that he ran away from it, right? This is why Jimmy's not here, right? Because it was Brett was all about what Ben wanted, right? Yeah. And if Ben's the kind of guy you don't get what he wants, you're seeing what he's doing right now. And that's what happened this year. Let's keep it 100 here. Let's keep it 100 on A2D radio. Did part of it have to do with him being a little vagina and not want to dunk a basketball on Trae Young? Of course, right? And the heat that came after that? Of course. But I'm going to be real with you. The entire season, he was held accountable on certain things, and Ben didn't like that. Benjamin didn't like that. That's why Ben Simmons isn't here right now. It's not because he doesn't like Joel Embiid or his teammates or even the fans. It's because actually guys in the organization now that are getting paid a lot of money are saying, yo, need you to do that. They watch tape. Yeah. Let's keep it real here. These all guys watch tape. So in meetings, we're saying, and when 4 other veterans in the room are saying, go need you to shoot that one.
Yeah, it's definitely not year 1 and year 2 anymore, right?
Yeah.
We're in our 5th year and you still haven't shot the ball. And you start losing playoff games and you start getting bounced in the second round constantly. Yeah, a lot of people are going to start saying things, and obviously, Tommy, you said it so right. I mean, once the accountability came, Ben was like, I don't know. I don't know about this situation anymore, because I feel like he wants that coach that just wants to, pat him on the ass and be like, yeah, that's all right, Ben. That's okay. You shot 0 for 8. That's okay. But I just
I'll
think
take
that
0 for 8. I'll pat him on the ass for shooting 0 for 8.
Oh, God.
As long as they're not all 8 layups, if they're jump shots, I'll pat him on the ass. Atta boy, Betty. We're growing, buddy. We're growing. We'll go get some Miracle Grow from across the street where Nick Sirianni's in his in his greenhouse. We'll get some Miracle Grow.
Yeah.
Nick's got great.
The roots are strong.
Yeah. Thick.
He works out. He doesn't skip leg day.
Oh my God. The people in like Sixers groups. There's one guy, right? Sixers 24/7, right? Jaheim Johnson. I'm high as hell right now, but how we lose 72 games to draft Ben, now 5 years later, this light-skinned motherfucker don't even want to play for us. I'm literally scrolling Facebook, and that's the first thing that pops up.
That's great.
They know our truths. They know what we're talking about. Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious, that's his part.
It's a different conversation. It's a different conversation when you talk to a black man about Ben Simmons. It really is, because they pull that card. Only light skinned dude would do some shit like this.
Yeah,
pull that fucking card real fucking quick.
Some guy Joseph Antonelli writes, while we were talking skin tone, Devin Booker, Trae Young, Luka Doncic, Zach LaVine, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. Shall we continue?
He put Luka in there.
he went as white as you can get. He went real white.
He put Luka in there.
Luka
is a fucking problem. I feel bad for him. I feel like they're wasting his prime out there.
Good, trading us. We'll give you Ben, Maxey.
Yeah, we said I'd only trade Ben for Luka.
Yeah, right. Luka ain't going nowhere.
All right, Johnny. Can we talk about the implosion of the Wizards last night and what this could mean with them trading Beal? Fan base wants Beal gone. Bradley Beal's had a down year.
Do their fan base want him gone?
With 35, what was it, 35-point lead last night to the Clippers?
Yeah,
no, I saw they lost.
Yeah,
but do they want him gone? Is my question. Like, is that real talk? Like, does Washington are they done with Beal?
He did come out and not sign an extension at least preseason.
Yeah,
so
that was the big thing about
him. Declined.
But we knew that though,
right? I think that probably rubbed those fancy people in DC the wrong way because he didn't want to commit to obviously a losing organization.
You're not lying. They are bougie as shit in DC.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the funny thing too about Washington is that, man, those first 2 months, everybody's like, oh, Washington's the most improved team. They're like first place in the East. Nobody can stop them. And now I think they're like 4 games under 500 right now, and everything's starting to fall off for them.
Yeah, I mean, his numbers are.
I just don't think he gets moved at the deadline.
I think Beal's a guy you kind of, I don't want to say you overlook numbers, but I guess you kind of overlook numbers just because he is all they have this year. At least last year they had. Did John Wall play with him last year for a little bit?
No, it was Russ.
It was Russ.
Yeah.
But you had somebody else with him. This is one of his first years where it's literally been just him. He doesn't have someone even, a 3/4 John Wall before he got shipped out, to run alongside him and help him. So,
he's not playing terrible.
His numbers are potentially might be down, but that's one of those guys I'd be like, I don't care what your numbers are looking like. I'll trade for you.
Yeah, I mean, he's shooting 30% from 3, 45% from the field. Still averaging 23.
Those are down numbers for him, though.
Big time.
They are.
Last year he averaged 31. Year before
he
that,
led the league in scoring last year.
Yeah, so I mean that's troublesome. Troublesome is the guy hitting a wall here. His field goals are also down too. I mean, he's averaging about 19.5 per attempt.
But it's just him too. I don't think he was never built to really carry a team.
No.
Now let me ask you this: who would you guys rather have? Would you rather have Bradley Beal? And I know some people are going to laugh at this, and I'm just throwing it out there for conversation. Or would you rather have CJ McCollum? If you had your choice.
That's a good question.
That is a very good question.
Because I feel like they're
great players.
Very similar.
Very similar.
Skill sets.
Similar.
McCollum's 30, and what's Beal again? Shit.
29.
I was just looking at that.
28.
Yeah, 28, 29, I believe.
Greg, we're going to sit you out on the exact age of Bradley Beal.
Yeah, he's 26.
42.
22.
He's 26.
Are you sure?
He's
Now,
28.
I need you to track those sources, Greg.
Yes.
He's 28. He's 28.
I think leaning to age-wise, and I think he's more talented and gifted.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Beal.
I'm gonna have to go with Beal. Like if they were both 30, maybe I would lean to like, hey, maybe Beal's hitting a wall because his numbers are down, so I'll lean to McCollum, right? But I don't know. CJ seems like he's always hurt at some point too. I don't need. We talked about this before. Like I'll take CJ for Ben at this point. Okay, not like poo-pooing him, but like I don't need. We talked about this. I need a guy that if Joe goes out for a minute, that a guy that's going to be healthy for a second. And Bradley, for the most part, we talked about this. I felt like he was hurt more than he was, and he really wasn't. So I'll take the guy who actually is going to play in more games.
Yeah, but CJ
last year you only played in 60.
When CJ's healthy, man, like he's one of them guards that he just like. It don't matter who's guarding him, he's getting his shot up. You know what I mean?
Now, do you think the Sixers care about what team they trade Ben to? Like, just for an example, you trade him to Washington, and now you got to play Ben. What I think it's 4 to 6 times because they're in their conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, does that play a factor into? Okay, we can get Bradley Beal, but the downside is that we're gonna see Ben 4 to 6 times a year now.
Great question.
Rather if you send him out obviously to the Western Conference and you only see him 2 times.
Listen, great question, and I'll tell you this. When you're getting a return back of a Bradley Beal, you're not worried about where you're sending a guy too much.
Yeah,
right?
And that's another thing. Yeah.
Like if you're getting Kuzma and give me like 2 other guys from Washington, then I'm saying I'm worried about where I'm sending back to.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a concern. Like think about it. They're big fish is James Harden. Like Daryl can't get James Harden out of his mouth. Okay.
Oh, it's the worst kept secret.
Secret. Yeah. So they're willing to trade him to the Nets.
Yeah.
And playing with KD, they'd be willing to do that. So they can't listen when you're trying to get the return back in this situation that you're in right now, and the length this has gone to. You can't worry about where. You got to worry about return. And as long as your return you feel like is a value, and Bradley Beal's a value return for Ben Simmons, actually more than we thought we'd be getting if we got him, right? That you can't worry about it. You just can't. For McCollum, like if McCollum played in Washington, then I would say, maybe I worry about it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I still got to
Might
move.
do a double take for that. Yes, I agree.
But man, I mean, that's another big fish. Like, I can't. We talk about Harden. I mean, you don't think Bradley Beal's going to have the same impact playing with Joel Embiid? I'm going to tell you, you're crazy. And I'm not.
Beal's a walking bucket.
Yeah.
Even if he's having a down year, he's still drop you 22 to 24 a night.
And does he have a down year playing with a guy like this?
Because his role changes, right? He doesn't have to be the guy. He doesn't have to shoot 30 shots a night. He's got to, he can shoot 15. He still dig his 15, but they're going to be a lot less contested 15 because he's got the big man.
I didn't see all these. Greg thinks Cass is 18.
Well, have you seen that hair? Look at that hair.
He's got a thick head. Sweep says everyone 26, even old ass, even Sweep's old ass. Marcus Thomas, you can catch him every Thursday night on Pro Fan Talk on HUD Radio, 7 p.m. Former Eagle, former Western Kentucky rival, right, Frank?
Yes. He's a Eastern Kentucky Colonel. Yes.
The Colonels. I didn't even know that's what they were called. The Colonels. Right. Man, and could you imagine though? Like, if you I hate doing this, right? Because this makes you so upset. Because then he's not.
This is where you get in trouble, right?
Like, dude,
you start thinking, and you're like,
yeah, this is when you wake up 3 a.m. cold sweat. You're like, damn it.
Joel, Beal, and then Tobias.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
We were talking about this earlier, right? When all this Ben stuff, like all the different scenarios. I'm not getting hyped onto it. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when
Would you rather have Bradley Beal or James Harden?
Bradley Beal.
Harden.
Okay. Frank?
Harden.
Ralphie?
I will go James Harden.
Wow.
That pick and roll with him and Joel would be disgusting. And the fact that he made it work with Clint Capella, and Clint Capella came and shoot a 3 or a mid-range, and he made that work in Houston. I don't. And if you just give James Harden a big man like Joel, that's scary, man.
It's scary.
That's scary.
It's scary with them two on the court.
Like Clint Capella couldn't even shoot a mid-range.
Well, what's the difference? What's the difference between Bradley Beal coming off the pick and roll?
Handles.
Bradley Beal can't handle.
Not like Harden.
Yeah, not like Harden. No.
Not as a point guard, like you have a true superstar point guard coming up the ball. I mean, Beal can handle the ball, but not like Harden can. Yeah, right. And
I agree with that.
Harden's a team, like he really is a team player. As much as he scores, he gets other people involved.
Yeah,
like, there's a reason why he has like
he
averages
right now.
anywhere from like 9 to 12 assists.
Yeah,
this is where I draw the line now, right? Because I got to then at 33, he's going to cost me $60 million a year. I'll take the 28-year-old. Well, I agree with everything you're saying, Ralphie, Nate. You guys are spot on. Frank would agree into it too. With saying Harden, you guys listen. It all makes sense on the surface. If they both were 30, I'm taking Harden all day. All right, but they're not. So I got to factor in the guy being a little bit younger too. Right now, I don't think they're going to factor that into this because they're trying to win right now. So they don't care about like a 4-year window. They care more about a 2-year window. But we're going to hate James Harden at 37.
Yeah, it might turn into like a Chris Paul.
I hate him now, and he's not even on the team.
Now, you know what? I'll agree. You know what? I'll take back. I'll take his statement back because I like to retract some things. He's got an old man game anyway, so maybe we don't hate him at 37. You understand? Because of his style of game. He's not a guy who beats you on pure athleticism, right? Like Beal's an athlete more than Harden is. So Beal's going to beat you with quickness. He's going to beat you with this. Harden beats you with great handles, right? And great. We're talking about
great quickness.
The jab fake, like the first thing you ever taught when you handle the ball. Like he's got all those little moves. He's got all those little fundamentals. He does extremely well. So maybe we don't hate him at 36, 37. Maybe we don't.
Uncle Drew. He's gonna look like Uncle Drew out there. Little gravy, little beard. You know what I mean? He's gonna let his hair grow out on the sides. and shit. You know what I mean? Like he'll be fine. No. My fault. He's got the cornrows, so he'll have the Jerry Rice where the cornrows start in the middle of your head. You know what I mean? When the line is all the way in the back. One of the dumbest shits I've ever seen in my life. Somebody had to dare Jerry to do that. What the hell are you thinking, Jerry?
You know what? I'm going to say Harden in this. I can't believe I'm going to say this.
Come on.
And I'll say because like Dame. I mean, give me both. I can't believe I'm saying this because you guys know how I feel that I like Dame over James, right? Like I do.
Oh, I'll take Dame all day over Harden.
I don't think I do, though, because of the reasons you guys just said. Look at the rebounds. Look at the assists. Look at all the other things he does to help teams win basketball games. Dame, I'm not taking a shot at Dame. He's freaking special. But does he do all those things? Is he averaging 12 assists and 11 boards? No.
Does he have anybody to give 10 assists, 11 boards to?
Huh?
Does he have anybody to give 10 assists to?
Oh, come on, Greg. Harden's been doing this triple-double game for a hot minute. Let's not act like this just started. I know we're anti-Harden here, but let's not act like that's just started. Ralphie's right. He's been doing this shit with Clint Capella.
Too. He knows how to play with a star. Like before, he was the star, and he has changed his game to match who he's playing with now, right? Which is arguably probably is the best player in the league when healthy.
And don't forget, last year too, Kyrie came out and said, "Forget it, James. You just played a 1. We'll just roll with it. You played a 1, and you just control the game."
Yeah, you know what I mean. I really like Harden. I would take Harden over a lot of people, but give me Dame Dollar.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
Give me Dame Dollar if you ask me that.
I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say Dame won't fit with Joe because it's a perfect match, right? It is. But will he shoot you out of shit at times? Like, will he feel the room all the time? I think James is gonna feel the room every night, right? And I can't believe I'm saying it. I think he just feels the room every night. Like, I just think he does. I just think he gets other guys involved more. And Dame does too. I'm not like questioning Dame being a guy who doesn't get other guys involved, but I don't want to hear Dame's never played with anybody either. Like, CJ McCollum pretty good. He's got wing guys that can score. So he's never had like a big, but even his big there isn't terrible, right? So I mean, like, he's played with guys. I'll take the guy who's been through the wars, the Western Conference Finals wars, and like Jimmy was saying, a guy who is so close to getting over the hump that I gotta believe. Well, I think James Harden makes Joel Embiid better because of the way he can facilitate, because of the rebounding, because of his ability to take guys one-on-one, right? His ability to go to the line. If you factor the amount of times your basketball team is going to go to the free throw line for all the analytics,
that's the biggest thing
out there. All right, for the analytic nerds, Harden, it'll be a 5-hour game. It'll be a fucking 5-hour game. We're gonna be at the line 90 times a night. 90 times a night. We're gonna live at the line.
That's a big thing.
Just take me to Broad right now. Take me to Broad. Give me a float, Ralphie. Let's float the Broad right now. Fucking
That's
go.
Huge. Him and Joel, especially because Joel lives at the line too, and we all know Harden lives at the line. Shit, that might be 50 free throws, combined for both of them each game.
It might be. I think I broke my forearm. Oh my god.
I think I broke my forearm.
I did a week ago, and it's essentially gotten worse today. Where like every movement is like, oh my god, what?
Did you get hit with a ball?
No, worse. No, worse. A kid jumped through like an L screen that had like a cutout in it for some reason, but the kid thought it'd be funny to jump through that as I'm showing a kid like a load drill he can do up against stuff, right?
Oh god. So
the screen comes down, and I go to block it with my forearm, and the metal, of course, the metal, not the netting. The metal just smokes, and I'm like, oh, that didn't feel well. So I'm like, it's just a bruise, right? You think it's just a bruise? Hey, week later, I feel like it's fucking hanging. Unbelievable. I got the worst luck in the country.
It's a left hand. At least you throw right.
True, but every time I swing a fungo, it's like,
Make your assistant coach do it. Oh wait.
Oh. Stop it. I'll take Harden over Paul. I like Paul.
Chris Paul?
Yeah.
Cliff Paul.
Man, he's 37 right now, and the Suns are paying him $90 million.
Only one Paul.
Cliff.
There's
Cliff, yeah.
There's still
Cliff
ball
Chris.
in Phoenix too. They're first in the West too, right?
Chris Paul, my favorite point guard.
Who did they lose to last year?
Milwaukee.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's right. They did make the finals.
Yep.
See, Riz, I can't worry about that. The only problem is I don't want to send Ben to Brooklyn with KD and Kyrie, I can't worry about that anymore. I got to say, does this guy get me over my hump? Can this guy give me the best chance to go to Broad Street? And if I'm an executive, that's what I have to care about.
Yeah.
I got to care about what makes more sense for my organization and what's the best player to pair with my big man. I'm telling you, this team, Ben, you put Ben on Brooklyn, nobody's going to question their length and some of the things they can do. All right. But I'll take our 3 over that 3. If Harden was on it, I'll take Joel, Harden, and Tobias over Kyrie, KD, and LeBron. And Ben, because he's a loser. So I automatically take the other 3.
I just don't even know how that would fit. Like, just Kyrie and Ben. You know what I mean? Like, I guess
I think Kyrie would get dealt.
Yeah, I can see
I think
that
Kyrie
as well.
gets dealt. They try to bring something back in. And
that can play every day.
Yeah. So, I think that's maybe the direction they go. But I can't worry about what they're going to do or how much better they get. I got to get better.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where we're at, boys. That's the conclusion you come to is you got to get better. And, if they don't trade them, there's still ways for this basketball team to get a little bit deeper and a little bit better. Is that enough? Probably not. But, again, if your big man's going for 45 a night in the postseason, who's saying you can't win a series? Who's saying you can't win 2? So, we got a lot of time left. We've obviously
especially in the East, too. I think that's got to factor in huge. The only one in the East that's got a big is Miami that you're worried about, right? That makes you pause. And depending on how Milwaukee plays Giannis, it's Milwaukee, right? That's really it in the East. No other big scares you or worries you.
No. Bill, I don't agree with this because you got to look at the bad teams. Like when you say that, honestly, like why would anybody take Ben? He's got to practice and learn a new system. He's saying like new guys, and hopefully he's mentally there late in the season. He's not going anywhere. Bill's saying the only reason I'll disagree with that, Bill, like just to
Bill said it
to have the conversation is because like you're talking about if it's like a Sacramento per se, or not a good team or a Washington, because they're just like good. We'll tank it out. We'll get a top 3 pick, right? Like you know what I mean? They'll just tank it out. Because then they're going to try to want to pair him with somebody. Like, think about from that side of it. When you're talking about a team that's done and out, they're absolutely fine with him sitting out. Absolutely fine with it. Come back next year. We'll talk to you. And we'll get you right next year. Like, think about it. They don't want him to play. Because if he plays, they're going to win too many basketball games. When you're talking about the bad teams. I don't think he's going to make them better. He's not going to a contender, is my point. He's going to go to a team that thinks they're out of it or they are out of it, right? And they're fine with him not playing this year. It actually makes them better for what they want to do, which is lose games. Okay, sorry, I was reading that. A GM can't trade for a player that doesn't want to be here. Paul, Harden, Lowry, and Jimmy all chose different teams.
Well,
they can trade for a player. They can do whatever they want. Okay. Ben Simmons is the first guy.
The only one that chose a different team was Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
No one else was even.
Well, yeah.
Harden was traded to the Nets, so we didn't really have an opportunity. Unless you believe the rumors, right? We didn't really have an opportunity to go get him unless those rumors were legit true. Chris Paul was a free agent. He could choose where he wants to go, or I think even he was traded, wasn't he?
Yes, in the offseason.
Yeah, it was some sort of, NBA special sign and trade.
And then Kyle Lowry, you guys almost had the deal done, but you didn't want to. I think you didn't want to include Matisse or another player in the deal.
Yeah,
and he didn't do that deal.
These guys didn't have any say anyway. The only one that had to move that moved that didn't chose was Jimmy.
Yeah, he went to Miami. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think that. Like, why would somebody not want to play with Joel Embiid? So, I think you gotta look at it from that perspective, Brandon, too. The way he's playing, I think guys would be idiots not to want to team up with him. If they have basketball IQ, they'd be nuts. Because for any guard to not want to team up with him is crazy. Because it's the easiest way for you to get over your hump. right? If you don't have a championship, it's the easiest way is to looking what happened in the past, right? Look at the other guards and big men that have teamed up together and what they've accomplished.
Yeah.
And you can look rest in peace to the great Kobe Bryant. All right. But you look what happened when him and Shaq teamed up. Game over. Night.
3 straight.
Night. So just look at history. What else do we have? We have other guys, right? Look at the guys with Duncan. Look at all the guards with Duncan. Help that pretty good.
Tony Parker and Duncan.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. Very good.
So
about
look around the league. What
15
else do we
years.
have? What else did we have? Anything recently that can tie into that?
Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton, right?
Yup.
Another guard and another great center. Got into the finals last year.
What put Milwaukee over the top was getting Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
those are 2 guards to go with Giannis. You know what I mean? So that's what put them over the hump last year.
Absolutely. What put LeBron over the hump in LA? Not over the hump, but what got him a ring? You team up with a big man. Like, right, we take shots at AD, but you team up with a big man who's healthy at the time, and guess what they go do? Like, you know what I mean? There's a correlation here, right? You team LeBron up with a great big man when he went to Miami, and Chris Bosh, that people forget. Try to tell me he wasn't a big man. Yeah, he was. Okay, he's freaking 6'11". That's a big man. So, right, Kobe won another ring with Andrew Bynum. I hate to bring the name up, but a guy who was legit at the time.
And Pau Gasol. Two bigs at the same time.
Yeah, so
Paul was nice too.
Paul was real nice.
The only guy who didn't need it recently is Seth Curry. I mean, that's the only guy who don't need it, or Steph. Steph's the only guy who didn't need it.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, Draymond just plays that role. He's not a big, but he plays the role, right?
Plays the role. But no, there's nobody in the country that shoots the ball like him and Clay shot it. So I don't even want.
Yeah. And KD too, Rever.
Yeah, and then KD, like you can't even compare the type of shooting spree that they put on.
Yeah, that's just a different game in its own right.
It's not
different.
Fair.
And I guess you could put, I don't know if you could put the Celtics in it with Rondo and KG, but because they had Ray Allen and Pierce with that whole group too. That 08 championship. That Doc won. By the way, in 08.
Did Doc win one? No, it absolutely fits though, right? But it fits that because Rondo was the pure, that pure guard, right? And that's absolutely, And then I just because we all live here, right? We know what this city is when this team is good, right? And you just want that back, right? This town, I know it's an Eagles town, but when the Sixers are rocking. It's a Sixers town. That building is electric. And you miss it, right? That's missed right now, and it needs to come back.
Yeah, Sixers basketball is fun when it's good.
When it's rocking, those Iverson years, oh my God.
Greg, I agree with you. I mean, this is a big-time basketball city. I don't care what anybody says. Even when we were trusting the process and losing, people were still engaged to this basketball team. So this is the last fan base that ever to be talked about in front running ever. And for the fact that guys that didn't want to come here, etc., that's all fluid on a superstar. And when you have a guy playing the level he's playing with Joel Embiid, guys around the league are going to start taking notice and want to play. So, that's what it takes. It takes Joel staying here and recruiting. I said this last year. Right? He's got to recruit. I know he hates everybody, right? Everybody he plays against, and I love that out of him. But, he's got to recruit that guy. And he's got to want that guy. And you don't need two. You just need the guard. And if you get the guard, it doesn't have to be a point guard. I mean, look at Clyde and Akeem, right? Once Michael went away, then they started winning rings. So you need the guard. Mike's the only other guy, right, in history. But you're talking about Mike and Steph, right? 2 guys who can win it without the traditional big man. Think about it. Think about that. And Joel's not even traditional. He's a freak. So you look at that and you say to yourself, okay, the only 2 guys who ever did it are fucking unconscious guys. Like, it's it. They never get
Don said the Raptors. I think Kawhi did it without a big man. I mean,
he had Marcus Gasol. Yeah.
I'm not sure if you do though.
Yeah, you had Mark and Ibaka.
Like, yes, not like great.
So maybe not traditional.
Not great, maybe not great, but solid big men.
Yeah, they were solid, but at the time, Kawhi was unreal. You know what I mean?
Remember, he only won one there, so it's not like he left. They could have won more, but you know what I'm saying? Like he won one, so I mean that can happen. You can get over it the other way. But if you're trying to win a couple, hi. And they had Siakam, who's, I mean, I guess, when you talk about a 4, he's a big.
Yeah, but he's not the big that we're talking about when you say, Paul or, Timmy, Shaq. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about your traditional like big center.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So I don't want to stretch that too far where we're leaving it open for everybody. There's guys who can do it. Right. And those guys usually go unconscious. Right. And they have great guard play. So the Raptors had great guard play that year too. So with Lowry and Van Vliet and Kawhi, I mean, they had a lot. So it's not like it was just a Kawhi show. Everybody made it in a Kawhi show. Like they didn't have players. They had a lot of guys who could score the basketball.
Reason why, Van Vliet has the money he has now because of that series in the finals against Golden State.
Yeah, and Robert, you can also make the case for LeBron in Cleveland winning one if you don't count Kevin Love. And again, more of a stretch 4. But Ken play with his back to the basket and did.
There's nobody like Bron though.
But again, you're talking about
Bron's another one of those.
We're talking about LeBron. It's in my opinion 1B, right, in greatest players ever. Behind Mike. So
1B. Yep,
1B.
absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, those caveats are reserved.
Stop it, Greg. Stop it, Greg. I know, but stop it, Greg. I see you shaking your head. You can't run away. No. You can't.
I agree. He's a different in this conversation. He's a different cat. No, there's no question.
But he did win
like the greatness.
Because Bosh was a big man.
And then, he did win one with Kyrie too in Cleveland. So
yep.
Again, but he's a different specimen.
No, he completely is. He's a specimen. Yes.
Guys who change the game are different, right? When you're generational and you change it, you can win it with other things. Now, keep in mind, every guy we've talked about has had the other guy. We've never had this conversation. All the teams we've gone over, name one who's won it with just one.
Yeah, it's hard to find.
Mavericks.
It's hard to find.
All he had was Dirk. They beat Miami.
Yep.
Yeah,
he had a bunch of role players. You had Jason Terry at the tail end of his career, but he was the only star on that team.
Right. JJ Barea had a great series, by the way.
JJ Barea.
I'm thinking about that team. I'm thinking, is that was Sean Marion on that team?
Yes, he was.
Sean Marion's career.
And Jason Kidd.
Don't bring up that name.
They just had a really good team. They had a lot of good role players, man.
Yep.
And
that's exactly what they were.
Kidd was at the end of his career at that point.
Yep.
Yeah, you either need that.
Big shots, though, man. Kidd had some big shots in that game.
And Dirk, Dirk didn't miss. And stop bringing up Sean Marion's name, people, please. Okay? Bringing up nightmares over that game and that missed shot. Me and Wilson.
I was about to say, what's up? What's wrong with Sean Marion?
Well, I mean, the night Joe Johnson's orbital fell out of his freaking eye in the playoffs, they were a 10.5-point favorite against the Dallas Mavericks, and Joe Johnson went down, and we had the money line back in the day, and that was like, okay, you bet, if you bet 500, you're losing like $3,000, right? Sean Marion had an open 3 for the win, and that was a shot from the corner.
Yeah, I'm about to say, was it the corner shot?
Let's just say he didn't make that one. He didn't make it. So me and Will's back at her, we're like our early 20s. We're freaking fucking scrambling. You know what I mean? We're lifting up sofas, finding any change we could find. Well, like this was a guarantee. And if Joe Johnson doesn't get hurt, they win that basketball game, by the way, too. That's how good Joe Johnson was back in the day. So, you need the big man. And listen, I'll tell you right now, Sacramento is going to come back to the table. You better believe that. And
I think so too. I think
one, they're a poorly run organization. 2, they're all in tank mode right now, and they got a lot of guys that sort of want out of that place too. So I think when you have all of that, you can have a deal there. Now, does Daryl Morey think the Aaron Fox, etc., is a good enough return for Ben Simmons? I don't care what people say about the Aaron Fox in the last 5 minutes of basketball games. That's the return you can't pass up. So, unless you guys got anything else Sixers wise, we'll before we get into the NFC Championship game preview and the AFC Championship game preview?
I got nothing, but I have to bounce. I got to paint my face blue tomorrow. So
Go
that's
blue.
going to be fun.
Go blue.
Go blue.
Yes.
Interesting.
So I will see you all next week.
Mr. Rudy Pill.
And
See you,
I guess for my predictions, I'm going to go, I'm going to go Chiefs. And to quote one David Roscoe, Rams. Have a good night.
Later,
See you,
Frank.
Later.
David
Mr.
Roscoe
Rudy
all the time.
Poo. $5 super chat. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Rudy.
Brother. Can we imagine JoJo's number if the NBA never implemented the zone and doubling? Stay woke, fellas. 90s basketball is compromised. Yeah, but it's not. I mean, Shaq and Kobe were winning it with his zone. So, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but you can make the same case for Allen Iverson. I mean, the zone was put in the NBA because of Allen Iverson. So, like, that's a trendsetter who got the zone put in the league because nobody could stop him one-on-one. Like, that's what happened. So, just to let everybody know, like, that's how the zone implemented. And that wasn't, like, that was after they went to the finals, like 2003, 2004. So, I mean, there was a zone in, and big men have won with a zone. So, the zone has nothing to do with it if you have spacing. You can zone all day. Like, and you're not talking. So you're talking about 90s basketball is compromised. Well, Joel Embiid isn't your traditional 90s basketball center either. So he can shoot you right out of his zone himself. Right? Like, his elbow jumper can shoot you out of his zone.
Yeah, just put him right at the free throw line.
Yeah, real quick.
Stick him right in the middle of the zone.
So I hear what you're saying, Mr. Rudy Poo. The game has changed for sure. There's no questioning that. But I'm just saying history has proven that a big man and a guard have a lot better chance of winning than the alternative.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Unless you have like a fucking top 5 player of all time or top 10 or 15 of all time, right? Like, we're talking about all-time greats can take that right out the way here. Don, that's what I'm here for, Don. You know what I mean? People look at me, hey, guy's a one-trick pony. A lot of Eagles talk. Nope, not around here. Not up in here.
Not up in here.
We got great ones. Sunday. Okay. I mean, it looks like it on the surface that we got 2 really good football games to enjoy. And we will start with the first one. Let me just make sure I know which one the first one is. And that's the Bengals Chiefs.
Yeah, it's the AFC.
AFC title game. The Chiefs are giving the Bengals 7.
Yeah, I saw that.
I really like the Bengals in the 7 in this game. And I'll tell you why. My thought process is, man, that's a big win for the Chiefs, dude. And anybody who's played sports, you got to get up again. And not saying it wasn't a big win for the
Big
Bengals.
emotional game.
It was. Bengals were an emotional game, but nothing like what we saw Sunday night.
Yeah, right. 13 seconds from what it was from your own 20, right? Jesus.
I don't know if the Bengals win this football game, but I think they cover. I think it's hard for a team to beat a team twice. We talk about that a lot, especially the good teams. So I find it hard for the Bengals to go in there and beat them. But, man, Joe Burrow, Joe Burrow's playing at another level. He's cool, calm, and collective. They're tough. Give me them against the spread, the 7. I got to think about who wins the football game. But in betting terms, I'll take the Bengals.
Yeah, I'll go straight. I probably will go Bengals with the money, with the points as well. But as a prediction, I'll go Chiefs. Go back to the Super Bowl again.
Yeah, I'll once you guys get through, I'll decide. I'm not. It's such a hard one. Like, how do you bet against Kansas City, right? And not only bet against them is fine, but like, how do you not pick them at home?
Yeah, at
right?
home. Yeah.
I don't know, but the Bengals are on this little like, they're on this little magical run here a little bit too. And then, like, I look at the other guy, they're smoking cigars, right? I mean, they are just chilling. And he's
like
a winner too, baby.
Right? It's like they expect it.
It is. And Joe Burrow said, like, hey, we're just not here. Like, we're here to try to win the whole damn thing. So, I mean, listen, the guy's a winner. Guy's a fucking winner. So, sorry, I thought somebody was saying something. But no honey badger in that football game. So,
he is out.
That's what Don is claiming.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I would check that.
What the fuck does that mean? What are you talking about, Gator Country? Bengals don't make big plays. We watched them all year. That's all they do is make big plays. What are we talking about? Against
the last game, they had 3 receivers over 80 yards.
They got a lot of firepower.
You got a lot of firepower.
But he can't get sacked 9 times
in this game.
If he gets, not against the Chiefs, especially not against the Chiefs, because it's definitely not Ryan Tannehill throwing the ball. It's Pat Mahomes on the other side now. So if you get sacked 9 times, it might be a long day for Cincinnati.
That's damn sure.
Yeah.
AC big. It very well could be. This could be the coming down the earth party for the Cincinnati Bengals. Very well could be.
I don't think so.
Jamar Chase is a big play, Gator Country. What are we talking about? What does thinking dunk matter anyway? What does that matter? You're missing every game. I mean, literally, you never turned on red zone. Not once this year did you turn on red zone.
I mean Gator Country down in Florida, he ain't watching nothing in Cincinnati.
Chiefs have a pretty good pass rush, Ted. Frank Clark and
Ingram.
And what's the Ingram? I'm talking about the tackle.
Chris Jones.
Chris Jones, yeah.
Come on, what are we talking about? Guys, are we just turning it? Like, are we not watching these teams all year? I mean, they got 2 pass rushers that can flat out get after you, and they got one of arguably a top 3 defensive tackle in football, top 5. What are we saying? Their front's actually better. Their front 7 is better than Tennessee's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Come on. Oh, everybody lock in here for a hot minute.
And the fact that the Chiefs put a 30 spot on the best defense in the league last week. I mean, all right.
Gator.
Greg, did you go?
I did not. Let me kick field goals. Well, then it potentially could be a long game if they're kicking field goals. Because you're right. They but they're not a dink and dunk team. They make big plays.
No, we've been hard on Jamar Chase and Tom Arnone, and I'm like, yes. Are we okay? Are we okay?
I won't throw the H word out there, but Tom doesn't like or didn't like Jamar Chase.
Okay. And just to clarify,
he does like him. He does like him.
I did think he could play. I just was concerned over a year of not playing football.
And completely fair.
Well,
I like the Bengals here in an upset.
Outright win.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you're gonna take the 7. I think that's. I almost think that's emotion in Vegas, and that doesn't usually happen very often, right? I know the Chiefs have been here, but there's something about Joe Burrow and the way this team is, and Tommy, you alluded to it, right? The way this team is acting in their first playoff time in a long time, right? They're acting like they belong, and that goes a long way. So give me the Bengals.
Yeah, you gotta believe.
Yeah, I think you got to take the points here just because the offense can score. It's a bad matchup from KC's secondary, and all they're Cincy's balanced, man. They really are. They're really balanced on offense.
And Joe Mixon ain't no slouch.
Yeah, he's not. He's not. And even if he has, like 15 or 18 carries for 60 or 70 yards, he still like keeps you honest. So, they're really balanced, and I just think there's just too many receivers. It's like the same problems you have with the Chiefs on offense. You just can't guard everybody. You just can't. And it's the same thing with Cincy. You just really can't guard everybody. And right now, Chase is playing like he's unguardable at this moment. So I think that it'll be another exciting game. But I think with 2 high-scoring games, especially with a team that can score, it's a no-brainer to take the points. It's interesting that the line is so high at 7. But I mean, if you look at Patty's numbers, man, he's only lost 1 game in the playoffs, and that was the Super Bowl.
He's pretty ridiculous.
He hasn't lost the game in any playoff game outside of the Super Bowl. So, he's quietly putting together some numbers in the playoffs. So, KC's always going to be hard. I mean, you guys remember listening to that game? Like, that was the one thing when I was watching the game. I'm like, yo, the crowd is fucking loud, and I'm watching this on TV. Like, you could just hear and then when it was on the other side, and the Chiefs were on offense, you could just hear like the crowd wasn't as loud. So that place gets loud as hell. It's rocking. So it's going to be a fun game. It's gonna be a fun game, but I would definitely lean to the points here.
Yeah, I lean to the points, and the more we've talked about it, I think Kansas City wins this football game.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they.
I just think it's hard to beat a good team twice, and that's going to take us right into the NFC title game.
Yeah.
And not only twice, 3 times.
3 times a charm.
No. Listen, put your fucking mortgage payment for the next 8 months or a year on the LA Rams. Let me tell you again, no shot they go in there and beat them. No shot. 0 shot. And I could have been wrong plenty, and I'll probably be wrong again here. No shot the Niners go in there and beat them a 3rd time. No way. Doesn't happen against good teams. Twice, you can give me. 3 times, and me and my dad were arguing about this. He's like, remember the one year the Eagles beat the Cowboys 3 times? I said, okay. There's always somewhere in there, all right, that it happens. It ain't happening here.
No, I don't believe it either. I think the Rams are just destined for the Super Bowl. And I think obviously the perfect fit with Matt Stafford and the Rams are the fits there for both of them. And I think it's what they did at Tampa Bay last week was eye-opening. They almost gave the game away last week.
That shit was real close. Tom terrific.
But I mean, it was 27-3, right? At one point in the game.
Tom was like, I've come back from bigger.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Ralphie. That's what I think. I just think they have a lot of firepower, obviously.
And Cooper Kupp, nobody's stopping him.
And we're talking about the Niners defense, and we're forgetting that the Rams aren't a slouch on defense, right?
Oh yeah.
They can get after the quarterback. They can take the football away. They have an elite corner. They have things that you need to be tremendous on defense. And I just can't see how San Francisco can go do it again to them. And even bigger that we talk about emotional wins. I mean, that's a big emotional win, for them last week going into Lambeau, right? And I find going into Lambeau sometimes, unless you're Tom Brady, right? That can almost be your Super Bowl. And the next week, you come down to reality a little bit.
Yep. Let down week.
What's the status of Trent Williams? Do we know yet?
They said right now that he's playing.
Bro, it's a game of
No, I know they're all going to play, but
they're playing for sure.
You look at that game last week with
questionable, Greg. So
with the Bucs, right? Okay, the loss of Wirfs was huge for the Bucs in that game. Because they couldn't, especially early on, they didn't have an answer for the defense.
Mm-hmm.
And Tommy, that leads right into what you were just saying, right? The Rams are legit on all sides of the field, right? I mean, the Rams,
real quick, Greg, don't forget, stay where you're at. I just want to give you this. So 11-15, they lost to them 31-10 in San Francisco. Okay. And then the final game of the year, they blew a 17-point lead, and they lost 27-24 to the Niners at home. So they literally just lost to the Niners at home 3 weeks ago. They you know what I mean? 3 weeks ago, they just lost to the Niners at home, blowing a 17-point lead. No fucking shot it happens again.
And that game put the Niners in the playoffs.
Yep. So there's no way. Now, maybe
they beat the Niners that game. The Niners aren't even in the playoffs.
Imagine that. And then you lose to them
to go to the Super Bowl.
Oh my God. It comes full circle.
and there's so much.
Taking it back.
Whether they buy into it or not, right? Whether it's just the media talking. I like how we, dubbed ourselves the media. But there's so much pressure on the Rams to get at least to the Super Bowl, right? Because of all the additions that they made, all the trades and the moving of draft picks. This is what you do it for. You do it for this game. You do it to go out and win this game. I think the Rams do. I agree. It's so tough to beat good teams 3 times, and especially within 3 weeks of each other. It's like, you look back at what the Bills and the Patriots, right? I mean, the Patriots dominated the Bills and literally bent them over and dominated them in one game, and then beat them again, and then come back in the playoffs, and then it was the Josh Allen choo-choo train ran all over them. So
yeah,
I'm going Rams.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, you look all around. It's hard to do it. It's hard to do it. It was the reason I had the Chiefs beating the Bills last week was because I thought it was hard to beat a good team twice, especially a team like Kansas City. Like, you got to go beat them twice. Like, okay, in their place twice too, not just twice. Like, not just like, oh yeah, you beat them at home and now you're gonna go beat them and you can go beat them there. You got to beat them twice in their building. Doesn't happen often, and they had it, but it just shows you it doesn't happen often, and crazy shit happens.
I mean, we see it every year in the NFC East, right? I mean, regardless of how good or bad the teams are in the NFC East, it's so tough to beat even your own division twice every year.
See, this is bad narratives. Like, why is Stafford will lay in that Gator country says, well, why? And McVay's a punk. So now you're putting an agenda behind your pick. That's why you're going to lose money. You know what I mean? Like, if you're picking because of agendas, now I could be doing it with Kyle Shanahan because I think he's a perennial big game loser. But that's a story for another day. Okay, like once you lose the Super Bowl like that, I don't care what part of coaching staff you're on, you ain't ever getting a job. I don't care who daddy is. Like, I'll find another smartest guy in the room then.
Why Stafford got to be a punk, though? Stafford's done everything right in his career. Like, what has he done that he's got to be a punk?
Yeah.
And lay an egg? What, just because he hasn't been there before? I think that guy's dangerous.
Yeah, he's done.
Because that guy might not – he never knows when he's going to get back there.
Easy money. Let's be clear, though. Foles won it in 2017. Let's not act like he didn't go toe-to-toe with the greatest of all time and outspin him for a day. Like, let's remember what we watched too. Like, I'm not saying they had a great postseason run, right? We played in the cold a lot, right? It was defensive battles, okay, doing the little things, making enough throws. But let's not act like we got with the nice closed environment that Nick Foles in 2017 didn't outthrow Tom Brady, which not many guys can say they did in that game, in that atmosphere. So Jimmy G's outthrowing Matthew Stafford, because that's what has to happen for the Niners to win on Sunday. He can't be 9 for 15, guys. It's no shot, because they're blocking punts again. They're blocking field goals. Okay, if they do those things, they're probably going to win. I don't think they do those things Sunday again. We're asking them to do it again. They don't leave Lambeau without. They had no points offensively. Are we okay?
They also went up against the absolute worst special teams in the NFL. The worst special teams unit in the NFL in the Green Bay Packers.
I'm going Niners.
Oh my gosh.
I am going Niners. I like the Niners in this game, man. I think I don't know what it is, but I think Shanahan I can't get over the stat of that 6-1. Like, I can't get over the stat that Shanahan is literally 6-1 against the Rams. They haven't beaten the Niners since 2018. That's ridiculous. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what the scheme is. I don't know what it is.
In defense, he had Jared Goff for a few years.
But but Goff took him to a bowl too, though. So, that's not downplay Goff. Playing well for the Rams.
No, I think that should make the argument for Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay both being really good coaches, because they both took lesser there, right? They lost, but they both took lesser there.
Sure, for sure. I don't know. I like the makeup of this Niners team. They're coming in a little bit hurt and a little bit banged up, but I think they got enough to win. And you can say whatever the fuck you want to say about Jimmy G. That motherfucker wins games. I don't know how, I don't know why, but that motherfucker wins games.
Hey,
that's what happens when you date porn stars.
And Stafford, this is his first run, a deep run into the playoffs. Does he have that Nick Foles magic where he takes it all away? I mean, this is the first wins he's had in the playoffs.
Yeah, but we can't do that though, because he's finally gotten the postseason with a good team and he's won 2 football games. And he's beat the best quarterback of all time at their place. So as much as we're hyping up what the Niners have done, let's not take away what the LA Rams win did last weekend, because that's not an easy task.
Yeah,
not saying you are.
I'm not taking anything away from them. I think they've done well, but I don't know, man.
Done well. They just beat the greatest of all time.
They're supposed to be in this position. This is why he's there.
So's the greatest of all time. Come on, Nate.
What do you mean so's the greatest of all time?
We talk about preseason projections. Everybody and their mother, most people at Tampa Bay repeating, right? Or at least going back as the NFC favorite. That was a favorite preseason. So essentially, right now the year changes and things fluctuate and Green Bay looks like they're the better team. That's Green Bay every year in the regular season. I take no stock in somebody going and beat a perennial loser like Aaron Rodgers in the postseason with anything more than what it is. Because he comes up small every postseason there is. I'm so sick of Aaron Rodgers. Right, dude. I love it. Have a voice.
Take him here, though.
Yeah, have a voice, have a thought process. I never question guys for that, right? But when all you're extra, and I'm not even talking about backs or unbacks, I'm talking about you're extra, right? Like all year long, you're not committed to the year after, right? When the other guy and Tom Brady, he don't make commitments or not, right? You know what I mean? He's committed to winning. He's committed to winning, and everybody around him knows that, right? The people around A-Rod, right? They don't all know that. Right? And that's why you blow games in the fucking postseason. That's my little rant on him. Right? One of the most special slingers of the rock I've ever seen in my life. Okay? One of the most special talents I've ever seen in my life. But if you ain't all about winning, motherfuckers know. And if you don't think that matters, you're all crazy. You're all crazy at this level. I say it all the time. Everybody knows what car you're driving. Everybody knows your beautiful beach house in Malibu. Everybody knows all of it, what the stars get. Right? And if other guys around you don't think you're 100% in, okay. We're not talking
all that talent. He's only going to win one Super Bowl.
Yeah,
if
we're not talking about the other shit.
Retire.
We're not talking about what happened throughout the season. That's your choice. I don't care about that. You guys know me by now. There ain't no hard stance with me. Like, do you, boo? I don't care. You're a football player. You're not like somebody I take your opinion like everybody else's opinion. You should have one. Right? But that's not the reason they didn't win in the postseason. The reason they didn't win in the postseason is because it's the theatrics. It's all about Aaron. When you make it all about yourself, guess where you end up? Sitting at fucking home. I could go on this all day.
Watching Jimmy
You guys
G.
don't win. We're talking about Jimmy G, right? We're talking about Jimmy G, Nate. Right? Just winning football games. So everybody in San Fran, everybody on that roster knows, hey, Jimmy G don't care about his numbers. He cares about winning football games.
Yes, sir.
When the other guy cares about MVP trophies, postseason don't matter. I might not even be here next year. Look at the two interviews after the football games. Everything you need to know. Play them simultaneously next to each other. Get a laptop, get your phone, right? Okay, and play those two post-game pressers when the same question was asked, side by side, and let me know where you stand. And while now you can tell your kid, this is what fucking greatness does. This is what sort of greatness does. You want to win? You want your legacy winning or numbers? And that's not taking a shot about anything he's accomplished because he's special. You understand? But you want to continue to get up on Mount Rushmore. You want to continue to climb and win. Man, that takes a commitment that a lot of guys don't understand. And at 37 or whatever he is now, you're going to make this season when you're trying to get over a hump and arguably your last season in Green Bay, you're going to make that season about you. All season's about you. Nobody can get a hold of you. You're on Jeopardy, but you can't answer a phone. You just ask 45 questions.
Playing golf tournaments?
Yeah, you're everywhere. You're in Hawaii. Like, I don't care what you do, but don't make it all about you then. Because then I'm going, oh, right? Then we're binoculars, Ralphie. What's he doing? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, after that rant, Niners.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's stay on course. Niners.
Easy money. You're in Malibu, baby? I mean, I might have to swing out. I love the swing out. I love a little Malibu. You seen Jay Leno? Oh, look at you seen Jay Leno yesterday. That's phenomenal. I would love the
That's great.
The rub elbows with a few celebs. I probably only stay in Airbnb in Cali for like 2 days. I probably can't afford anything after that.
I was about to say it's probably fucking 10 grand.
I'll have to walk home because of the gas prices out there. You know what I mean? We got to leave the car out here. You know, can't even fly. So, yeah, I just don't think they beat them 3 times. And I think some of the bang-ups that happened throughout the course of this postseason, they not come back to bite them, but I think they run out of little steam here.
Yeah, too much coincidence about being at home, being the first team to host a home game in the Super Bowl. I ain't buying it.
That's not true because Tampa did it last year.
Tampa did it last year.
Yeah, that's right. It is right. So then
That's over.
That didn't even help.
Streak's over.
Back-to-back years where teams make host and play hosting.
Well, they might not even host it.
Oh yeah, I know, right? With that stadium,
They might not even host it.
This is not a home game for them. Like this is gonna be a lot of red in SoFi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of motherfucking red in SoFi. Best believe that. This is not a home game for the Rams.
No, they don't have a fan base yet. Listen,
They don't.
let's be real who the league wants in, okay? And when I think like that, when I think what the league wants, yeah, league wants Rams Chiefs. Does that come to fruition? I don't know.
Two high-flying offenses. Oh, my God.
They want that. They want those storylines that come with that.
Oh yeah, for sure. But if you watch
No
Money Pop,
storylines
we
come
talked
with
about Cincy versus Niners. That was
Yeah,
a
no
prop.
storyline.
That was a prop. That was a bet that we put out there for y'all. Let's see if it rides.
Yeah, no, listen.
What were the odds, Nate?
The time to bet, the odds were plus 850.
Okay.
Plus 850. We had a poll question.
Yep.
Go to A2D Radio. Go to YouTube. Make sure you hit that join button and become a member. We're still beaming out picks, baby. Don't worry about that. We're still hitting picks. But as soon as you hit that join button, find Money Pot last Sunday. Our poll question.
Yeah, I remember it.
Cincinnati versus 49ers, the best Super Bowl prop bet right there. And it was the longest odds, and it's still alive. It really is. It's still alive. I think I'm not too worried about San Fran. I think San Fran can win that game. The sweat is Cincy. Can Cincy really go to Arrowhead and win? Don't know about that. And the line says that, right? The line says 7.
Yeah. You see the over-under in that game? 54.5, 55.5?
And I would bet over. And I would bet over. Because because if you like the Chiefs, you got to think the Chiefs are gonna win by almost 2 scores. So you got to think 30, 33, maybe 24 type game. But if you like Cincy, Cincy's going to score. And then, regardless of what
your thoughts,
Chiefs
they're going to
do,
outscore them.
Yeah, like the Chiefs are going to be right there behind them, just like they were in Buffalo, right? No offense. I mean, no defense, just offense.
Yeah.
And for all those hating on the overtime rules, shut up. Can't stand that shit. He flip a coin and you lost. That's it. It is what it is.
Even before that, it's the 13 seconds.
Yeah, nothing to do with coin toss for me.
Yeah, best defense in the league, 13 seconds.
Yeah, your head coach is a defensive guy, right? That never can happen.
It doesn't change though. If he squib kicks it and the guy falls on it, will you lose a second?
No. It has nothing to do with the squib. Zero to do with the squib in my eyes. It has everything to do with the style of defense that you attack them with.
Okay, yeah.
Knowing the situation.
So Frazier, if you talk about Frazier, Leslie Frazier, who's their defensive coordinator, who's a great defensive coordinator, by the way. Yes, I agree with that. It was more on the defense. They played a shitty ass defense.
Well, listen, I don't care. Listen, they got timeouts anyway, right, Nate? So if they have timeouts anyway, then usually with no timeouts, you're gonna keep a team away from the sidelines, right? They ran that same style of defense. This is so missionary. Hey, honey, just lay right there, babe. Just lay right there. This is what it is. This is why guys get in trouble. All right? Because what you do there is you allow the boundary knowing they have timeouts. So you almost don't want them in the middle of the field because that creates more explosive plays.
Yep.
So you gave them the middle. They get chunks when you should be taking away the middle. You should be rushing 3, take away the middle, right? Knowing that timeout and say, go to the boundary. We'll give you the boundary. We'll give you the 10-yard out because that's not going to hurt us. That's going to run 4 seconds off the clock every time.
Yeah.
What hurts me is 20, 30-yard gashes that you allow because of the style of defense that you ran. It's a joke. Everybody should get fired.
How about Kelsey was mic'd up and Kelsey called the plays? I don't know if y'all saw that. He was mic'd up during the time when they got audio of Kelsey, and Kelsey called both plays because he saw the way they were playing defense. The first play, he told Hill, he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna run in front of you," and then Hill was able to eat up yards. And then he went back and told Mahomes, he's like, "Hey, if they're playing that defense, that seam is open." And then once Mahomes saw the defense, he said, "Kelsey, we're good. Kels, go. Kels, go."
It was awesome.
The team for about 15 yards. It was like the one thing I love about great football is smart fucking players.
Mhm.
That's the one thing that can be better than a good football player is a smart, good fucking player. And it just shows you how smart he is to be able from a tight end position know where people are going to be at, know where all the other players are going to be at. And I think that was one of not just the defense, but that was one of the key reasons why they were executed because they saw that on the film. Gotta love it.
You know what's crazy?
Gotta love
You know what's crazy about that? If you look at it and you can tell how important, like, knowing where guys are going to be on the football field, when Mahomes drops back, he almost has to like pump it a little bit because he's not quite sure when he's coming out of that break, right? Because hey, we're playing backyard football, right? Like, so now I can't throw you open. I got to almost wait for you to decide when you're going to break on me. And then I got you, right? And it just shows you, like, hey, that's one of you just play backyard football in your biggest play of the season. And it worked for you guys.
Seconds, yeah.
Because on the fly, you're able to communicate that to each other and still have enough of a feel on guys' movements to know when he's coming out of that. It's fucking phenomenal, dude.
Yeah, it was great. It was great all the way around. I love the game even more when I saw that.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
It's those moments that, I mean, because you think, what's a tight end know about what this guy's supposed to do, right? Just because, you don't realize how smart and how much film these guys watch. I mean, you saw in the Rams game too, right late in the down where Cooper Kupp's like telling Van Jefferson where to be. Like, yo, no, you got to be on this side. You got to be on this side. And it's just, when you see those aspects, you're absolutely right. It enhances the game, and it just shows how much these guys do work at their craft. Most of them, right? How much they work at their craft, and then how special it is when it actually comes to fruition and pays off.
Yeah, and be able to flat out spin it, right? Like if you're just a Joe Schmo, you might not even get that ball in there. Somebody might come cut that off, right? Or it's not thrown well, or it's thrown behind, right? Like, well, a lot of that factors into it too here.
And I don't think, and I said comment in there with Jesse, Bill, I don't think the Bills choked. I think if the Bills get the ball, they score. I really do. I think I said it on Twitter. Whoever got the ball first was going to score, and that was going to be the game. Period. You know what I mean? They couldn't stop out there, man. The way those quarterbacks were playing, it just wasn't fair.
Yeah, their choke game with 13 seconds left. That's how they choked. They didn't choke in the entire game, right?
Yeah.
They choked 13 seconds away, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which ended up costing them the football game.
Yep. Unreal.
Yeah, Sweepsy. I'm talent. The QB position is game.
Yeah, man. It was funny. After that game, man, it was such like it set fucking Philly on fire. Right? It set fucking Philly on fire about Hurts, man. And it was just so funny to see, like, oh, we want that guy. We need that guy like that. Like, understand what you were looking at. You were looking at 2 generational talents, right? They just don't fucking grow on trees. And not even that Allen got a full year, right, before he took the helms. And Mahomes, I think what did Mahomes do his first year? Not much.
He sat behind Alex.
He sat behind Alex.
He sat, right, but Smith got hurt, and then Mahomes came in, right?
You guys know what Josh Allen velocity was at the combine? Anybody want to know that? Because I know it.
Okay, go ahead.
See if anybody want to guess.
Guess.
I'm gonna say 85.
No, it's not. They're not as high as you think they would be.
Nah. We're talking about a football.
Yeah, they're not as high.
62.5.
Grow up, dude. Really? How'd you know that?
I completely guess.
Yeah, it was like 62. You want what's Jalen Hurts? Guess Jalen Hurts is
37.
Yeah, I think it's like in the 30s or 40s.
It's not in the 30s. No.
20s?
No.
Like lower?
No, up, dude. Relax.
Okay.
Relax. We're not talking about
58.
Close.
55.
55. So please leave the comparisons at home between the two.
Yeah, that's a big difference. People don't. It doesn't
7
sound
miles.
like it's a big
Put
difference.
2 cars going 7 miles an hour difference.
Yeah, but you go to our lads, right? You go to our lads and you click on depth charts, right? And you click on any player, you can get those. You can get those numbers, which I find is interesting. And now remember, this is one throw. You know what I mean? It's one throw. So, because like you take it for a grain of salt too, because like Herbert and Hurts are like right there. And if you watch it through your eyeballs, you're like, stop it, right? So it's one throw, right? I'm not throwing over top of linemen. I don't need windows, right? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I got a better release. I got a quicker release. So other of those factors factor in, not just the velocity, right? Like other factors, the smoothness, your legs, everything. It's one throw. So, you take it for what it is, but you can find all that shit. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember seeing all the comparisons, and I just shook my head. I was like, nope, not doing it. Not doing it. You're either going to be patient with the guy, or you're just going to, or you're just going to keep killing yourself, just waiting for him to show up. So.
Yep, exactly.
But I tell you what, this is why you throw 3 first-round picks at the guy you want, right? Because you get a quarterback like that if you do. You know what I mean? And to me, Watson's that guy. He's in that conversation with those guys. Except for Pat. I think Pat's by himself. But I think Watson's in that Allen conversation. Because what I saw Watson do in that 1 year with the Texans was unreal.
Yeah. I think if you
He has done a lot with only
with
D-Hop, right?
Nothing.
I mean, he only had D-Hop forever.
Yeah. So with that,
that helps, right? That helps, but that doesn't make
what
everything.
game was that? Was that a playoff game when he shook like 2 dudes off? Again, was it against the Saints? I think. Was it the Saints? No.
If it was the Saints, it wouldn't have been a playoff game.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been a playoff game. The Saints. Who was it? I remember he was rolling out. It was on like 4th down. And it was like 2 guys converging on him, and it just bounced off him. And he got the. It was like 4th and 9. It was ridiculous. I was mad because I lost money on that fucking game.
Watson's a guy. Yeah, Sleeps. I feel like those numbers are low too, but I don't know how far they're throwing it too. I think that probably matters.
Is that the Kenny Stills?
Is that Raiders? Somebody said Raiders. I think it was in the playoffs.
I don't know, but go look it all up on our lads. It's crazy. Like you get all the velocity, but that's also pro days and shit, right? So
yeah,
you factor Allen a little later, and he's even stronger than he was on draft night, and he's big. I can see that. I can see him being a little bit faster now. Just looks fast.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll be patient with Hurts. So buckle up. Fucking buckle up, everybody. Let's fucking buckle up.
The order for Boyd, yes or no? Yes, Bill. Yeah. The guy's not playing for a guy who can play for us.
For a guy that can play, yes.
Yeah, I know it.
But listen, great show, boys. You guys got anything else before we close out of here?
No, sir.
No. Oh, good.
No, sir. Just come on Sunday, man. We're still live. We're still giving bets. We're starting to get into college basketball a little bit. So make sure you guys tune in on Sunday if you can. Get some free bets.
College basketball's heating up.
Yeah, man. I had some good plays today, man. I think Notre Dame came through for me. I like Notre Dame today, and then I had who didn't cover though? Notre Dame didn't cover. North Carolina didn't cover though. I think they were by 13 and they lost. I mean, they won by 11, so that was tough. And then I had Texas A&M going against LSU. I think that came through for me too. So
yeah, I thought Texas A&M was up pretty big.
Two for one today. 2 for 1. A little bit better at college than I am pro, even though I watch more pro than college. And I'll tell you what, here's a gem. And I went to LaSalle. Sean McDermott's a LaSalle guy. If you see LaSalle, bet against LaSalle. Fade fucking LaSalle. Fade LaSalle. They are horrible. They just lost to UMass, and UMass is trash. Fucking fade LaSalle. I'm telling you that right now.
Oh, Boston.
So
Boston's up 3-1 over to Avalanche.
As we close this out, Joel Embiid's last 4 games: 50 points, 12 rebounds, 73%; 40 points, 13 rebounds, 60%; 38 points, 12 rebounds, 50%; 42 points, 14 rebounds, 50% field goal percentage. So
Embiid.
Complete dominance. We like to thank Manscaped. We are brought to you every Wednesday night by them. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Did the Valentine's Day read earlier. Probably should have read through it once before I went on the fly. But regardless, got it out. Felt right about it. So make sure you clean yourself up. Time to clean yourself up, family. And on your way out, hit the damn like, hit the subscribe if you haven't. Stay with us. 15 live shows over on A2D Radio. All right. If you don't like us, somebody you'll like. For Nate Moss, Greg Mlakovic, Ralph Delvecchio, Frank Vespi, and the two guys, rest in peace. They couldn't be with us tonight. No Eaton and Ryan. I hope something doesn't happen either one of them throughout the night because that would.
Rossi's going to hear that and start asking questions like, where's this guy at? Where's this guy at?
Oh my God. We're out of here.